artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 3, 2, 9, 7.
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Frank Pierce. And we would like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Thursday night. Happy Thursday. Here we are, back talking about the things we shouldn't be talking about. You know what that is. If you're not new, that means the government. That means major corporations. That means academia. That means the technocracy, aka the algorithms that police us. That's what we're here to talk about. Mixing some aliens, mixing some paranormal, mixing some politics from time to time, because if you ignore that type of stuff, what do you get? You get stepped on. And as the old yellow flag used to say, don't tread on me. And so here we are. This is Troubled Minds Radio, and we're going to do some shout-outs. We're going to do some topics. We're going to do all kinds of stuff tonight. This show is live, so if you want to be part of this show, give us a call. We have, unlike the government and academia and the technocracy and major corporations and all of the individuals that we criticize harshly, we instead believe in transparency. And so we do this live with an open phone line and open Discord. So if you want to get on here and tell us what's up, teach us something, and set us straight if we're askew, let's say, we'd love it. 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org. You can find the phone number and the Discord link. Get in here and let us know what's up. Tell us what's going on. If you just have show feedback, you want to say hello, of course, we're open to all that. If we're wrong, we'd love to hear that too. All of those things we're open for, because guess what? This is what transparency is all about. We're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes and make up ridiculous stories. We start with the source. We end with a source. And then we do some chopping up in between and hopefully communicating with you guys. So if you want to shout out, type in the chat where you're from. So we're streaming from Las Vegas, and we will shout you out as we go. So, yeah, that's what we'll do. That's what we're up to, and that's what this show is all about. I think did I miss anything, Frank?
Sounds good so far.
Okay, so far so good. That voice you hear is this man. Ladies and gentlemen, your co-host, Frank Pierce. Where is it? There.
Hello, my name is Frank Pearson. We are back again for another exciting show. Plenty to talk about, plenty of stuff going on in the news tonight. Aliens. A lot about aliens, a lot of things coming out. And I put together a little theory going back in the past, going back in the history, and we'll talk about that. Then we have some political censorship. Yeah, we're going to talk about politics today. We won't get too deep into it. We'll talk about the censorship part because I don't know if you know what's going around, but it amazed me to see. And then we have some miscellaneous things here or there. As always, you are welcome on the show. Yes, you out there listening. You can join the Discord. Go to the website, troubledminds.org. Click on the link in the top corner, join the Discord, and you can hop right on the show. How easy is that? Also, there's a phone number. I don't know what it is. My co-host there will have to tell you. You can call in. Tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're full of it. No problem at all. But let's get right into it. Lots of exciting things to go over tonight.
Yes. So this is the no trigger zone. So what we mean by that is different from the safe zone. If you rage, sorry, this is your apology in advance. So we're sorry if you get mad. This is a no trigger zone. So don't be triggered. Come here for the conversation. Come here for the thinking about the topics at hand, and try to challenge yourself. That's what this is all about. All right. So we got shout outs. We got Timothy. What's up, Timothy? Very consistent. This man he's here early and he's tagging people, and we appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Timothy. He's again, I can't even count the number of people he's tagging. That's how you get the word out. You share with your friends, you share with your family, you share with your enemies, and hopefully your enemies won't call you a Nazi, and maybe they'll just come listen for 5 minutes and see that we're actually not Nazis. All right, and we got Nicole. How you doing, Nicole? Gets second. How you doing? We got Eric. Hello from Pittsburgh. We got Frank. What's happening? Frank moaning from Qatar. Is that how you say it? Qatar. Is that right, Frank? Qatar? I have no idea. Us Americans are ignorant. We have no idea. I know that's another country, and I know it's nowhere close. So I'll say Qatar. Qatar. Eric, what's on the menu? We got all kinds of stuff, man. Per usual, we got a grab bag mix of topics, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Yeah, more importantly, what's on your mind if we want to know? Give us a call. Okay, so let's see. Dale, namaste, old green ones. Did I say that right? What does that mean? I've seen that before. What does that mean? Do you know what that means, Frank? Namaste, namast, Namaste.
Some Buddhist thing that means like peace and well-being. I believe that's it.
Oh, okay. There you go. I know I'd seen that before. What's up, Justin? Thanks for being here. Ben says, hello, Ben. Here and proud to be an alien believer, and does my boy Sean have a story for you? Right, Sean? Maybe. I don't know. What's up, Omar? Hello, Samantha. Hello, Joey. Thanks for being here, guys. Yep, no audio issues. We're good. Justin from Michigan. Hello, Jose. Vivan los extraterrestres. I think that's Espanol. Yes. Joey says no audio. I think you're mistaken. Robert, what's happening? Robert says the cube inside a circle was a block of levitated cut stone for repair of a damaged part of an alien underground base. Holy smokes. Holy smokes.
Love to hear that theory.
Yeah, there we go. Call us. We want to know about that, Robert. Thank you. We did talk about that last show, the cube inside a circle. So that was who was that? Tyler Rogaway. He wrote an article about that on thedrive.com, and we talked about that. Pretty good stuff. Hello, Larry. How you doing tonight? Kimberly, thanks for being here. Let's see. Who else?
Sorry, a Hindu saying. I was corrected. Namaste is a Hindu saying, a greeting in Hindu. So, my bad. I can't know everything. I try as hard as I can. I can't know everything.
Yes. I've seen it before. That's what I know. I had no idea what it meant. It's nice that it's not a, let's call it a slur. It's nice that it's not a slur. And it's a nice actual sentiment. That's good. Luke, what's happening? Good evening from South Carolina. Thanks for joining us. Emin from the Philippines, our favorite spook. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for being here. Let's see. Yes, let's talk about UFO and aliens and abduction and lost time and ringing ears and headaches and wake-ups at 3 a.m. Okay, let's do it. What's up, Sean? Thank you, Sean from Canada. Yes, Kimberly says peace. It means peace, maybe. Namaste. Am I saying it right? Is it namast or is it namaste? If anybody knows, again, like I said, us Americans, we can't even say Qatar correctly or Qatar. So if you understand, yeah, you understand how painful it is to be Michael Strange now. Okay, and let's see who else. Carl from Missouri. We got Wayne from Newfoundland. How you doing, buddy? First-time listener. Thanks for being here. I think you may be the first individual from Newfoundland that listened to us that I'm aware of. That's pretty awesome. Will, what's up? Saw UFO for the first time in the Smoky Mountains right after finishing a book. Yeah, right? There you go. About Agatha. A book about Agatha. Okay. Agartha? I'm not sure what you mean. Call us, let us know. 702-957-1037. Go to troubleminds.org. We want to hear about this stuff. James, what's happening? Hello, mate. Is that from you're from Australia? That'd be sweet. Jimmy, San Antonio, how you doing? We got Ernie, how you doing? Fred from Arizona, hello. Hello. Sean, I'm hearing the show live for the last time for a little while. What does that mean? That sounds ominous. Ernie from San Antonio and Bob Lazar joined. Dude, if this is actually Bob Lazar on Facebook, could you call us? We've got some questions for you. And Will, the Inner Earth, Agartha. Yeah, okay. So I read that incorrectly. Philip, what's happening, my man? I won't forget you tonight, Philip. We got Trigger Happy J, says legendary intro. Thanks, man. That's Trigger Happy J's on YouTube. Much love, Trouble Hines, host. You guys never disappoint. Thank you. Let's see. Philip from Southern Oregon. We got, who else? We got, Ami. It's Hindu, LOL, not Buddhist. Namaste is like hello. Namaste? Help me pronounce that, somebody. And then Philip, we can hear you both just fine. Mike and Frank. Yes! How about that, Frank? They can hear us both. What's up, Steve? What's up, Bob Lazar? Andrew Veneman, Los Animas, Colorado, now St. Paul, Minnesota. Sorry, did I read your whole name now? I'm not sure what you mean. James, I'm from Texas. America's Australia. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I think we're caught up. So, what's up, John? Yeah, we're on Facebook, John. Hello, John, on YouTube. We see you there. Okay, I think that zips it up. If I missed you, type it in there. What's up, Michael? Showing up fashionably late. How are you? And all right, so if I missed you, just type in where you're from, and we'll shout you out as we go. Hello from Las Vegas. It's Frank and I, Trouble Minds Radio, and here we go. What's on the plate tonight, Frank?
Let's start out with a tweet from Tom DeLonge, our favorite person, to the Stars Academy, Lou Elizondo, the Unidentified Show on the History Channel. Let's open up this tweet because he says something here that, I don't know, should we take this seriously or should we not take it seriously? Let's look at this. Everyone will know the reality soon, and unfortunately, it's not something to laugh at. It's pretty unnerving with some bad news, some good news, and with that in mind, all we can do is deal with it honestly and openly. That's a cryptic statement if I've ever heard one. What's he talking about here? What's your thoughts on this?
I hate the source, unfortunately. In my opinion, I can't even say I hate the source anymore. I have to say, in my opinion, I hate the source. No, I mean, didn't this guy say last week that on his show there was going to be a UFO shooting down a military helicopter?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he said that. Now episode 4 is out. And I'll tell you what, I've tried twice. I swear to you, I've tried to watch this episode 4 of the Unidentified, which is a Tom DeLonge program with Lou Elizondo and all that, right? It's on History Channel and it's about UFOs, right? You'd figure it would be easy to stay awake for. No, twice I have fallen asleep watching episode 4. So I don't see it leading up. I think I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. The second time I fell asleep, and I don't really see it leading up to that point to a UFO shooting down a military helicopter. That's what he said, right? It was chasing, following, and then shot down a military helicopter. I think that was his statement, right?
In Egypt or somewhere not in the U.S. It was somewhere else. Yeah, he said it would be on the next episode or the next couple episodes. I've been looking into it. I know the next episode is one about nuclear installments and UFOs around nuclear installments. So I kind of doubt that's going to get worked into that episode as well. There you go. And that was the one he deleted as well, right? He put that up on his Instagram. What if I told you there's going to be a helicopter being shot down by a UFO and it's on the next episode? And then he deleted that afterwards. So yeah, he's full of it. And this tweet here, this must have been written for him by someone else because this is incredibly cryptic, it's kind of inspiring. It makes you think there's something going on in the background, some bad news, but some good news as well. And it's all pretty unnerving. You know, this is the kind of fear-mongering, worrying tweet, but it's coming from a man, in my opinion, with a brain the size of a pea. So don't take it too seriously. This is more trying to get people to watch the show. That's all I can think that it is. There's nothing here. He doesn't know anything. He's not going to tell us anything. If he does know something that's pretty unnerving and there's bad news, well, tell us about it. Post it on your Twitter. Don't do this bullshit.
Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate again. So let's put this to music and go. Everyone will know, well, you know, to the tune of his song, right?
Stop.
No, come on. You know what I'm saying though? Like if you put this to some crappy tune that like Blink-182 would write, I can't sing obviously, but if you do, maybe these are song lyrics. Maybe he's like teasing his next crappy record. It's gonna hit. I don't know, because this is not. So notice he doesn't even say UFOs in this, right? He did like it's just like, hey, let me tell you, hey, there's some bad news and there's some good news, and unfortunately, this shit's gonna be, it's gonna, yeah. Just shut up, get out of here. This guy is on my last nerve. I just can't. You know what's the funny part, right? So I have seen 3.5 of his thing. There's 4 episodes on Unidentified on the History Channel, and it's what is it? This is I think he's been in it like all of 10 minutes for 4 episodes or something. And luckily he just shuts his mouth. Like he doesn't really. I think he's got 2 full lines or something, and he says they have to bleep him because he's like, I'm Tom DeLonge. Beep. Like, God. Yeah. At least we didn't get to have to listen to him for 4 full episodes. So there was that. It almost seems like he's not the leader of this little brigade, right? Like maybe Lou is.
You always have to remember though that it is an edited television production. So probably all of his lines, all of his voice lines, they were cut out. They were dropped on the floor. Right? I can easily imagine UFOs are real and they're demons and they're coming for me. Oh my God, we're all going to die. They'd cut that part out.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you're telling me, so let's say they filmed a whole bunch and then he did say a whole bunch of shit, but there was nothing worth putting in. And the only thing that they did, they had to bleep like in the middle of the sentence because he couldn't curse on the or he had to curse. I just don't understand. Again, this whole thing is it's getting on my nerves now because we're at the point where none of it makes sense. He keeps dropping these stupid details. He's trying to market some show. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like we talk about this quite a lot. We pay close attention to this because this is apparently the modern day UFO disclosure, right? This is exactly what is supposedly happening. If it's not government sanctioned, then it's at least allowed by the government, right? To put this on the History Channel. So I don't know, man. Like, are you sick of it yet, Frank? I'm sick of this. I'm really sick of all this because they haven't really told us anything. They really haven't. It's. I hate to say it's kind of. No, I'm not going to say that. That's not nice because the other show I was going to compare it to is much better. So I won't even like demean the other show by mentioning it in the same sentence. But it just seems like. I don't know, like they're yanking our chains, right? It seems like they're like, oh, we've got some mind-blowing stuff here, right? And there really kind of never is, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no quantitative statements. He never comes out and says UFOs are real and aliens are piloting them. I think he has said that on like a podcast, but if he came out on Twitter and said, so he is actually referring to UFOs here. He's replying to a tweet from Sweetman Tweets, okay? Does Tom DeLonge get the last laugh if UFOs are real? He didn't come out and say, yes, they are. He didn't come out and say, aliens are here. He's never made any direct statements which you can draw conclusions from. He just says some cryptic bullshit and then moves on his way. Anyway, we can move on from this, but it's interesting to follow this guy. I expect an answer. I expect him to say, yeah, by 2020, we will all know that UFOs are here. But we're never going to get that.
No, it's the same. It's the same crop of bullshit. It's right. It's like, hey, let's make this tweet to get me some more attention. Hey, and you're replying to I like this at Sweetman Tweets. You're right, Frank. That's amazing. So this entire bit here started with at Sweetman Tweets. What's up, Sweetman? If you're out there listening, what the hell is this? Oh God. Okay. Yeah, I'm done with this guy. Let's move on, Frank. Unless you got anything good to say, I'm done with Tom DeLonge because he just pisses me off. And yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying about Tom DeLonge for right now. I'm just sick of their show. I'm sick of all their BS. And remember when all this started, they said, we'll bring you UFOs. Just give us the money, right? That's what it was. They were talking about, exotic propulsions they were going to build and all kinds of wacky stuff. And, none of that has come to pass. Just this crappy show on the History Channel, which, okay. And I'll grant has some interesting parts to it, right? Like that, the sharks on Guadalupe Island, that was pretty cool, right? But of course they had to talk to a marine biologist to get the cool story. It wasn't just their cool story, right? But anyway, it's just like I'm kind of over it. So what are they doing? Are they trying to make these 4 episodes so they can get reinstated and get season 2? You know what I'm saying? Like we may as well be watching Friends. It's more entertaining. As terrible as that show was.
That was a great show. Let's move on, though. I went to look for some of these UFO videos. I was really disheartened. I was thinking, maybe this is all a scam. So I went to look for some interesting UFO videos. So we'll start the show with that, and then we'll move on to Project Bluebeam, because I think that's what's happening. I think that's the line behind the line. So we'll go into that, but let's look at this crazy UFO video from Puerto Rico. We've never played this one before. I had never seen it before today. The 2013 Puerto Rico UAP. This thing goes underwater, then comes back out again. We got to watch that. Let's pull it up.
Okay, I like it. Let's do it. And keep the chat coming if you guys want to be on the show. This is live, 702-957-1037. Call us. Go to troubleminds.org. That's the official website if you got comments on this. What do you think about this Tom DeLonge bit? We're going to play this video right now, but if you have a take on this, if you're kind of like me and you're sick of hearing about it, let me know. Maybe I'm just in a shitty mood. That's possible, right, Frank? I'm entitled once in a while, right?
No, it's, you can tolerate someone. I was excited when this To the Stars Academy came out. I was all in. I was looking at this thing. Remember, he's promised to build an alien spaceship that'll take us, or a human-built alien spaceship that'll take us around the world, flying car style. We can move from here to there in no time at all. Like, he said that. He said that on his website. I think they've actually redacted that in the interim. They've taken that away. But that was up there. A bunch of stuff was up there. Promises. And what do we get? We get some terribly written books. I don't know if you've looked at the books that these guys have put out. The Secret Machines, all this kind of stuff. And then a television show that, it's entertaining, but that's about it. Anyway, let's look at this video. This UFO goes underwater, much like the Nimitz UFO in the show. So let's actually see this and see what's going on here.
Okay. It says, your browser does not currently recognize any of the video formats available. Has this been taken down? Let's refresh and find out. Let's find out. No, okay, there it goes. All right, there it goes.
I can give you the link again. You got it?
No,
okay.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you got it. I'm telling you, I hit play and that popped up. Okay, all right, here we go. We're going to play this for real this time. All right, and go ahead.
Yeah, go. This is a quiet video. There's no sound, so you can pop it up in the background. First thing you notice in the very center of the screen at the top, this is infrared imagery. You see that, IR?
I do, yes. So there's the dark stuff behind it, so that means this thing that's flying in the middle there is hot? Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's a curious thing. People have been saying some of these are cold. They're actually colder than the environment around them. I don't think it works that way. I think the contrast is reversed. So this is a hot object, because you can see as it's flying over the road, the tarmac on the road, of course, absorbs the energy from the sun. So it would be much warmer than the environment around it. It's black. The tarmac is black, much like the UFO is black. So the UFO is going to be hot, right? That makes sense.
Yeah. So so the way I interpret these, and again, I'm not what would you call this? Infrared expert, but I think the dark is hot. I believe that's what we're looking at. And in this, okay, so this UFO, whatever this thing is, appears to be hot, right? So that it's dark. And interestingly, it's kind of phasing in and out, right? That's weird. Like the temperature's changing? It's a little bit odd.
Yeah, it could be. It could be that it's the side of it that's emitting heat. Maybe it only emits heat from the bottom, and that's kind of moving off camera, away from the focus of the camera. But you see it going over the ocean here, right? This is where it gets pretty interesting.
Okay, so cruising over the ocean. Oh, yeah, maybe that's what I'm seeing. So I thought that was like a cloud background. So, so it appears to be actually in the water, yes? Yeah, okay, let's see. There it goes, right about, yeah, this thing
right
is
into
going
the water.
underwater. Yeah, okay, holy crap, okay. Now, as far as I'm aware, we don't have a craft that can do this. It can fly and just dive into the water like that. That's pretty crazy. And now there's two of them, by the looks. I don't know. I did link this if you guys want to see it full screen. Check it out. Yeah, so it's split into two pieces.
That's the point of this, is one goes in, two comes out. And there's no pattern of interference in the water. There's no wake it's creating. There's no splashes or ripples either. But that's pretty neat that it looks like one of them goes in the water and two of them come out. That's pretty interesting. That fits the criteria, these 5 criteria. One of them, anyway, unimpeded movement, this ability to move within all different mediums. Remember, they said air, water, and space. We've never actually seen one going into space yet. They haven't showed us that anyway. But here you go. Could this have been what these Nimitz guys saw with that thing bubbling under the water? I don't know. Maybe. Pretty interesting anyway.
Yeah, so that was the Nimitz incident, 2004. Some of those fighter pilots of the F-18 Hornets described a kind of like a boiling in the water type of situation, and these things kind of came out and flew around. It was that Tic Tac business. So, yeah, this is kind of cool. So, what's the source here? Where did this come from? Do we know that?
Puerto Rico in 2013. I think it's a helicopter. Some kind of, there's not too much. Again, that's the problem with all these things is there's not enough information. There's no proof that this is actually a helicopter. There's no proof that this is, a police helicopter on a routine mission on this particular, there's none of that. So you just have to take it at its word. It could be all fake. Who knows? It's interesting anyway. That's the kind of thing. That's why we trust these Go Fast Gimbal and whatever the other one was. We trust them because they said they had a chain of custody. They know where they came from. They know all the details. And even though that hasn't necessarily been proven to be true, stuff like this, why is this not on the show? That's pretty compelling. I think you'd agree with me. That's an amazing clip, and we don't see that anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. We kind of pointed this out in the very, very beginning when they first released those 3 videos. We looked at them. Well, we've looked at those, I don't know, dozens of times now. But one of the first few times we looked at it, it was something that I brought up, and I couldn't help but think, okay, so there's 3 of these, right? So where's the terabytes of information that they have of the tens of thousands of more incidents? Because if there's 3, there's a ton more. And so that was kind of my whole point, right? This is a half-assed disclosure. So if there's 3, there's a lot more. So why do we not have a lot more? And especially since the first release, it's been a year and a half, right? It's been it's been a while. It's been long enough to be like, okay, there was the first 3, and here's the next dozen, and then we got a dozen after that. No, right? You get 3 videos, you get a good story, and you get a History Channel show. It's again, it seems like they're auditioning on Broadway or something. You know what I mean? It's silly. This whole thing at this point, it is on my last nerve. And if you're auditioning for Broadway, tap dance. Get your ass up there and dance. We want to see something. And it's not the same tired ass 3 moves you already made a year and a half ago. Let's see something new, right? And we're not. This is the same sort of thing. This would be something new. I agree with you 100%, Frank. But no. Why are they not talking about that? I just Tom DeLonge, if you're out there, please call us. This is an open line. We'll even take your call. 702-957-1037, please. So I just you see what I'm saying, Frank. I'm really annoyed by all of this Lou Elizondo shit. But yeah, okay. But I agree with you. So this is Puerto Rico. This thing went underwater. Didn't slow down a single bit. We got some good comments here. Dale mentions, I noticed no wake. So that's a good point. So as it goes into the water, like you don't see splashes, right? Like you would expect to see if you throw a rock in the water, there'd be a splash. But the thing's moving at like at least a velocity high enough to keep it in the air, right? It's speaking conventionally. And it hits the water and there's no splash. There's no wake. There's no anything. It just phases into the water. So he mentions possibly interdimensional. And I maybe concur there. There's something fishy about that, right? Definitely something fishy.
Absolutely. And who knows what that is? Who knows where it came from? But that's the kind of stuff I want to see. So anyway, I was looking into more of these things, looking to UFOs in space. Let's play this next one, looking for just weird UFO videos that fit those criteria, those 5 criteria. Aberrant movement through different vehicles and mediums, incredible acceleration. You know what I'm talking about. Let's play this next one, STS-48 UFO. Again, an old one, 1991, but let's play this and watch it and see what happens. This is from the space station, I believe.
Okay, from the space station. Here we go, action. Link in this again if you guys want to check it out. So there's appears to be a UFO kind of floating up here, UFO number 1, and a second one. So these are particles. They look like particles at this point, just kind of floating in space. But they seem to be large. Oh, now they're changing direction. Now they're all over the place. Okay, I'm linking this if you guys want to check it out. So yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. As far as I'm aware, I'm going to play this again because this is super short. As far as I'm aware, objects in space are not supposed to just change direction like this, especially all at the same time. Several of them even.
Yeah, so this is the Space Shuttle Mission 48. Now, I was thinking the same thing as you were, is it could be something like the space shuttle is floating there. It's perfectly stationary, and these are ice crystals floating in the background. And then it starts accelerating. And because we are from the perspective of the space shuttle, all those objects accelerating, they're not actually moving away. The camera is moving away from them, giving them the appearance of movement, if you catch my drift. But some of those UFOs are just sitting there. They're not moving. some of those objects, so some move, but some don't. That kind of discredits that theory a bit. So whatever's going on here, proof of UFOs in space. Again, we've seen this time and time again with space station videos and space shuttle videos, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like I don't know, right? So is this doctored? Again, right? I think that's the thing that drives me nuts about it too. So if this is legitimate, why doesn't NASA answer, right? Like, there's no answer. The whole point of this damn show is there's no transparency, right, Frank? And why would they not address this? Or many of the other dozens and dozens, or maybe even hundreds of anomalous stuff that shows up on these videos of the ISS and the space shuttle missions and everything else. This is crazy. That's a lot of stuff there. And yeah, so the UFO one right on top, it literally changed the direction. It kind of just floats and then just fires off into space by the looks, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of a shape to them other than maybe a circular, and really that's all you can describe. So yeah, I mean, ice particles, right? But then they shouldn't be moving. They shouldn't be changing direction. Yeah. This is a good one. I did link it if you guys want to check it out. Definitely good stuff. Hello, Brandy, on Philip's account. I did see that. Thank you for... So Brandy is Philip's wife, and she's recording this show because Philip can't make it, and he wants to make sure, in case we get taken down, he wants to see what got taken down. That's dedication. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I don't know. About this one, Frank, anything else? Ice particles? It's probably not.
Again, so, yeah, it has to be something moving independent. So imagine you're in your car, and you're sitting still and you're filming a bunch of people from the back window. And then the guy driving the car accelerates away. All those people would appear to accelerate away. But in this case, some of them are standing still, some of them are moving. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. And funny you should mention getting taken down. Stay tuned later on in the show where we definitely will get taken down when we cover some of this stuff. I think it's going to happen. I would bet money on being taken down tonight.
Okay, I agree. I saw some of this stuff, and I'm hopeful that we can squeak it through. Hopefully, if you don't say the right trigger words, right? But no, this entire topic is spicy, too hot to handle. Okay, so there we go. So there's more UFOs. Again, ice particles. No, they're changing direction. Yeah, I don't know. Something's up. I've seen that one before, and again, debunk it, right? Like, it's like, okay, fine. Mike, you're just a knucklehead. This is what's really happening. Perfect. Let's hear it, man. Anybody out there that is familiar with this clip and really knows what's happening, let me know. Call us. Again, this show is about transparency, right? I'm saying I don't know. Frank, do you know what those are?
No idea. Yeah, no idea.
Okay. If you do, call us. 702-957-1037. Go to troubleminds.org. The official website, you can find the phone number and the Discord link there, and you can get on the show either way. Call us or join the Discord and hop on the show with Discord. So, all right, more UFOs. And so we got underwater ones. We got ones in orbit that seem to change direction. Are there more?
Yeah, there's more. I want to take a brief break, though. Why do you think, you mentioned something, why do you think NASA wouldn't tell us if UFOs are real? Like, presumably they have hours upon hours, hundreds of thousands of hours of footage like this in their archives. Do you really think there would be riots in the streets? Do you really think that religious leaders would, start up some kind of new holy war to suppress this information? What's the reason that NASA, and I'd love to hear your comments out there or phone calls or anything. Why would NASA, because clearly they have the evidence, we've seen it time and time again, why would NASA not tell us this? Are they trying to protect their own jobs? Maybe the administration would say, well, if you're too incompetent to figure out what these are, you're fired. Is it that kind of thing going on? What's going on here? Why can't they just tell us?
Yeah, I think that's the age-old question. Do they really think, like, you go back, I've cited this a couple times, probably continue to do so. You go back to the World of Worlds, right? Orson Welles, and, it seemed to be a radio broadcast where people got scared and jumped out of buildings and committed suicide and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Do they still think we're there? Back to the stupidity of our elected officials and all that, right? The Guam tipping over and the gentleman from Georgia, and I say gentleman politely when I probably shouldn't. But do they really expect us to freak out at this point? I mean, isn't the number one show on History Channel? If it's not Pawn Stars, it's Ancient Aliens, right? So, I mean, like, this stuff, it almost seems like we're being prepared for that moment by all the alien stuff in the media, especially recently, right? And then with To the Stars, I think probably in the last couple of years, it's been more saturated than ever. So how do you actually think that people wouldn't be able to handle extraterrestrial life, if it's some giant secret. I think that's the biggest thing that baffles me is why are they toying with it? It's like a stutter stop, right? So this they're like, oh yeah, we have a UFO program. It's the Pentagon, millions of dollars, trillions of dollars, blah blah blah. But you don't hear anything else. So why does that detail leak, but literally no substance leaks with any more details? It's just annoyed, Call me a
pretty
move tonight.
Yeah, pretty annoying. There's a good YouTube comment here from Jean Carlos saying it's an economic reason. They're using these things. They're making money off them. They're mining asteroids. Maybe they're doing all this kind of stuff, and they don't want the rest of us to know, because as soon as we know, we can start making money the same way they're making money. And all of a sudden, well, they're not in power anymore. So I can see something like that happening, but that's predicated on the fact that they have the technology. They understand it all. They can already build these things. And I've never seen any proof of that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, a few more shout outs. Thanks for showing up, guys. We got JJ. Thanks for being here. We got Jacob. Jacob says, I'm off tomorrow. Can finally stay tuned for the entire show. How about that? Cheers, buddy. Thanks for being here. We got Wayne. Thanks for coming. Babu. Shane. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here. It does mean a lot. And yeah, right. But okay, remember. So what do you think? So we're talking about disclosure. We're talking about these. Like I said, if there's 3, the Go Fast, the Gimbal, and the Nimitz incident, right? If there's 3, why are there not thousands more? So Frank just pulled a few off YouTube that seem similar. Well, where are the rest, right? If YouTube has thousands, the government has tens of thousands, right? So I just don't understand. Why is it you take one step and then you stop? Because that's exactly what all this is. It annoys me. But what do you guys think? So do you think I'm just in a pissy mood tonight? Because I could be, right? I almost feel like I am, a little sassy. But if I'm not, and you think I'm onto something, or you want to agree or disagree, or agree with Frank, or continue the discussion, call us. We want to know what you think. Because, again, we talk about this stuff quite often. We do talk about this a lot. And so, I don't know. Do you feel any closer to the answers than you were a year ago, Frank?
No, if anything, I feel further away. I think the idea that I always had before starting the show is that UFOs were this unknown thing. They were here. We had no idea what they were. The military, everyone had no idea what they were. Now, all of a sudden, we get these characters like Tom DeLonge and I'm going to say Stephen Greer and all these people, Randy Kramer, coming out saying, yeah, we know all about it. And Bob Lazar, too. We can build these things. We can make them. We're on Mars. We're fighting space aliens up there. They've confused the issue so much. They've made it. You've got to stretch your mind in 15 different directions to even keep track of this kind of stuff. And if you say, well, yeah, we're on Mars fighting aliens, then this other guy will say, no, we're on Earth building UFOs. So people are arguing within this, I hesitate to call it a community, but this community, it's all chaos. It's complete chaos. No one really knows what's going on anymore. And To the Stars is just confusing this issue even further.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're not really helping. And so, Tom DeLonge making that stupid Instagram post and then a stupid cryptic tweet today. It just, again, leaves a terrible taste in my mouth. Sean says, I said it before, desensitization. So so you think it's baby steps. It's like, it's the drip of disclosure so that eventually, like Frank has always pointed out, that eventually we're going to be so desensitized that an alien's going to walk by in Times Square. Somebody's going to get a video of him. And nobody's going to believe it because we've seen all these fake videos and all this crap from Tom DeLonge, and we're so desensitized. Is that where we're headed? Do you think that's it, Frank?
That's the one point I do agree with. I think that's the one constant, because after these New York Times articles, these Washington Post articles, I've breached this topic with people I know in real life, and I've said to them, "What do you think about this?" They don't fucking care. They don't care at all. They change the subject and say, well, what about that Game of Thrones finale? What do you think about that? I don't fucking care about that either. So these people, there is this culture of apathy, this indifference to the topic. It's just too much at this point. No one cares anymore. So that I do agree with. We have this culture of insensitivity. No one gives a shit about this topic anymore because it's all fake or it's all real or who cares? There's this apathy prevalent through everything.
And it's like they're building that. Like you said, who cares? It's because it's like, well, it could be this, it could be that. We got a few more. Shane on Facebook says because of religion. Timothy says the technology control. So right? There's so many options here. And again, remember the ultimate, the false flag, the alien false flag, right? So if the complicit media went live tomorrow at 8 p.m. your time and said, "Hey, we're being invaded right now," what would happen? What would happen? Whether it was actually solid or not, what would happen? Of course, the government would call martial law. They would impose whatever they wanted to on our rights, right? Again, the ultimate false flag would be an alien invasion. So, yeah, here we go. Ryan says, what's up, Ryan, on Facebook? He says, technology, we hid it from ourselves, all nations. Babu says, scientists, when they don't know, they hate to speculate. Yeah, they don't. It's almost like they don't speculate. They're scared to be wrong. We got a caller here. Let's go to this call real quick. A couple more shout-outs. Master Anime Senpia. Hello on Twitch. We got DH. What does that say? How do you say DH? Dragon Slayer. What's up on Mixer? How you doing, buddy? I'm just teasing you. Okay, let's go to this call. Thanks for being here, guys. And let's see what they have to say. You probably can't hear him, Frank, but we'll yeah, here we go. All right. Testing 1 2. Can you hear us? You are on Troubled Minds with Frank and Mike. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
James. I'm calling from Georgia.
James from Georgia. What's on your mind, my man?
Well, I watch a lot of conspiracy theories on YouTube, and I was wondering if everybody else thought that if humans originated on planet Earth. Because I've seen a lot of interesting theories and pros and cons about whether or not human life originated on planet Earth. And my professional opinion is that we didn't.
We didn't, right? So I think that actually goes back to the Anunnaki theory and ancient aliens and that whole bit, right? Like we were somehow genetically modified and planted here on Earth and then cultivated, and maybe they're still watching us, something like that, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, so you said your professional opinion. Are you being facetious, or do you actually work in the field somewhere?
I'm being facetious.
Okay, that's fair enough. We have senses of humor here. It's all good. Okay, all right. So, all right. Okay, so I'm with you on that because again, there's we haven't gone into the actual genetics of the situation, but there is some evidence to suggest that the DNA of humans so far back had a drastic change. And so we can do that one of these shows. We haven't done that yet, but I'm sure Frank would love to get into that. But anything else we got you on the phone? I agree with you. I think there's definitely a possibility that it's called panspermia, right? Where they think that maybe billions of years ago something came from somewhere else and kind of planted us here as people. So whether we were genetically engineered after the fact or whether it was just a comet kind of dropping microbes and we grew from that, who knows? But yeah, I'm with you, man. There's a lot of information out there, and we haven't actually touched on that the entire scope. So we will one day. Anything else while we got you on the phone?
How about whether or not y'all believe that humankind has existed on this planet before? Like, as in, like, the Earth has wiped itself out quite a few times, whether or not human civilization has came to an end more than once.
Yeah, that's another good one too. It's like the ancient, like Atlantis or something like that, right? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there's more than just that because we can't find Atlantis yet. But we definitely know that the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Mesopotamians. We know them people existed, but certain tribes just vanished without a trace.
Yeah, and it's funny. The further back we go, and the more actual scientific archaeology that is done, it seems to be things seems to be widening. Right, the timeline of human civilization certainly seems to stretch back further and further and further. So yeah, I'm with you. There's definitely something suspicious there, and I don't think so. I know Frank can hear me here. We didn't do a show on that yet, right, Frank? Any kind of like ancient civilization type stuff? I don't think directly. Right?
No, I don't think we did.
Yeah, okay, not yet. So that's one we need to add to the bucket because for sure there's some interesting things that are far enough back that need a closer look. Hey, appreciate it, James. James from Georgia. Thanks for the call. Great call, my man. Have a great night. Thanks for listening.
All right, you too. Appreciate it, bud.
Thanks a lot, man. All right, go ahead, Frank. I know you heard some of that.
Yeah, let me jump in there. I put a link in there and pull that up. It just came out recently that Mars may have been habitable 4.4 billion years ago. So Mars 4.4 billion years ago would look like Earth today. That's what they're saying nowadays. So this whole theory that we came from a different planet, all this kind of stuff, you can easily see it being true. Why not? What's the reason for it? I've always said that we're looking here on Earth for signs of ancient civilizations. We're looking here on Earth. We're looking at these giant stones, all this kind of stuff. But you go back far enough, even a giant stone would wear away into nothing. The best proof would be in space. If some proto-human civilization put a satellite in space, put a monument on the moon, there's that obelisk on one of Mars's moons, I believe. I think that's right. Phobos, right? Phobos's obelisk. So that kind of proof would really seal the deal. That would suggest we were there before, and now we're back here again. So that's the way to look at it. And it recently came out that, what was it? The age of human civilization here on Earth, as you mentioned, is being pushed back and back and back. And now they're saying this whole out of Africa idea, where humans came out of Africa to colonize the world, that doesn't seem to be true anymore. It seems to be people in Australia, they're the proto-ancestors. So this age of humans keeps getting pushed back and back and back through DNA studies. So we'll definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So here, this is the article I did post it. You guys can see it. Mars may have been habitable more than 4.4 billion years ago. And, now you talk about the ultimate climate change, right? There it is. I want to know where the fossil fuels are on Mars, because it's currently not habitable, but 4.4 billion years ago was. So that's me being stupid, tongue in cheek. But thank you again, James from Georgia. That was a great call. Very good stuff there. And who knows where we came from? I think right. So you could say that the basis of this show is that we think basically many people don't know the answers to these questions, and that's why these questions are so fascinating. And this in particular, where did we come from, right? As a species, as a person, the soul and all this bit. Is this real? Or are we living in a simulation? Is this a giant Minecraft game? Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? But yeah, definitely good stuff. Definitely good stuff.
So imagine this for a theory. 4.4 billion years ago, according to those remote viewing CIA documents anyway, we're living on Mars. Science says it's habitable. And, they're exploring the space and they're exploring the moons around it. They build that monument on Phobos, one of Mars's moons. Then climate change there happens. We've got to migrate to Earth, and then there's a catastrophe, the Great Flood or whatever, and we lose all that knowledge. It's all lined up. There's no holes in that theory. It makes perfect sense. So it could be very, very well be true.
Definitely. Got a good comment here on YouTube. Jonas, what's up? He says that my ancestors' stories said that our tribe had 3 worlds, and now we are in the 4th currently. And that's native Navajo. That's the Navajo tribe. So there you go, right? And so some of these cultures go way, way back where they go past maybe the current iteration of this world, whatever that means, right? Whether it's a spiritual thing or whether it's like an actual, hey, maybe we were on Mars and it's now not habitable and we moved here. One way or the other, right? Or somebody moved us here, let's say. Yeah, so definitely fascinating stuff to look into. Thanks for the great comments and thanks for the great call. Definitely. Dragon Slayer, I've got loads of stuff to talk about or to ask about. Shoot, man. Call us. 702-957-1037. If you prefer Discord, it's what all the kids are using these days. Go to troublelines.org and you can get on Discord and tell us all about it. Ask us some questions. We're here. That's, again, transparency, guys. Transparency. And you don't hurt our feelings. And if we're wrong or whatever, it's fine. Except for Todd. Todd hurts my feelings. Everybody else, nobody else hurts my feelings. I'm just kidding. What's up, Todd, if you're out there? Tamron, thanks for being here. Who else? We got some other folks just showing up. Let's see. Tamron, hello. South Africa, I believe. Is that where you're from? We got Tony is here. And John, what's up? It says Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson. So there's a couple good names there. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it, guys. And Dale says, Mike, I think you hurt Todd's feelings Tuesday. Well, I just did again. It's okay. Todd's an old friend. We're just well, what do we do? It's like making fun of your bros. It's cool. Everybody's fine. All right. So yeah. All right. What's next, Frank? What do you think? Should we keep on that or something else?
Yeah, let's keep going with some UFO videos. Then let's get into Project Bluebeam, which is what I think's happening. I looked into it extensively, but let's open up a UFO shoots down missile. I'd never seen this clip before, and this is again relevant to this next episode of Unidentified with UFOs over nuclear sites, all this kind of stuff. So let's play this. This is I forget this guy's name. I should know this guy's name, but you'll see it. It'll come to me in a second. This is a pilot or some guy on the ground describing a UFO shooting down a missile.
That's Larry King. This is Larry King.
Yeah, Larry King, of course. And there's a video here too.
And flying.
I don't know if it's fake. I don't know if it's a reenactment, but there is a video. So let's watch this for a couple minutes anyway.
Okay, so this is from Larry King, a little bit grainy, a little bit older, because Larry King's been a while since he's been on CNN. But this is missiles at Malmstrom Air Force Base. And here we go. Turn the volume up. Action.
Downrange, we got all 3 stages of powered flight. And as the dummy warhead and the package flew on down range, we were all celebrating the fact that we had seen the thing and accomplished the mission. When I got back to the base with the film the next day, I was called into the office of Major Florence J. Mansman, and there were 3 people in gray suits standing in there. There was a 16-millimeter camera and a screen set up. Major Mansman said, "Lieutenant, sit down and watch this." And he turned down the lights, turned on the camera, on the projector, and the film came on. And I recognized it as the film that we'd shot at Big Sur the previous day. Toward the end of the flight, I was looking at Major Mansman saying, "Pretty good stuff, huh, sir?" And suddenly he said, "Just watch this." And as I watched, the warhead, the dummy warhead, the chaff that was put out in front of it as a decoy to deflect the Russian anti-missile tracking radar. Everything was flying along, and suddenly, in the same direction this stuff was flying at about 8,000 miles an hour, an object came into the frame, shot a beam of light at the warhead, flew up to the top, shot another beam of light at the warhead, flew around the direction it was flying, shot another beam of light at the warhead, flew down, shot another beam of light at the warhead, and flew out the same way it came in.
Well, I don't see. Why didn't you see this when you were shooting it?
Well, it was 800 miles away from us.
Oh, I got you.
And
they confiscated.
All right, I'm going to kill it there because they showed the video. I did link this if you guys want to check it out. That was amazing, right? So this warhead, this dummy warhead is going up, and there appears to be some sort of circular UFO fly by this thing, and just like he described, it kind of shoots a beam at it, right? And then another one comes back around and shoots another beam at this thing. So I don't know if they're trying to take it out, if they're trying to scan it for whatever they're scanning for. But yeah, that's crazy, right? And that literally makes Tom DeLonge and these guys look like a bunch of dicks, right? They're like, okay, well, we have this, which is absolutely compelling and amazing. What is this? But they have, what do they have? A Tic Tac that did that ish without laser beams and the sharks, right? So it's one of those situations where, again, you smack your head, you roll your eyes, and wonder what the hell we're even talking about here.
Yeah, I have to wonder if that's a real video or if that's a reenactment type thing. I don't know. It looked too perfect, looked too good to be true, but it'll be interesting if we see this character. I'm not sure of his name. They didn't include it in the footage there, but if we see this character on that next episode, if he's talking about this, because there have been plenty of sightings about UFOs or in nuclear sites and nuclear missiles, all this kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if that pops up. I don't know, though. Like, we've got this evidence. It's not unknown. We've known about this for a long time, but here Tom DeLonge comes along and presents it as if it's new, as if it's a new developing thing where we've actually known about it for years upon years upon years. Because this 20 years ago, by looking at Larry King's younger than he is now, he looks very decrepit in his current state. But yeah, we've known about it for years, so they're going to try to pass it off as something new. I don't quite buy it.
Yeah, it's like the news cycle, right? It's like they play it till you forget about it, and then when you forget about it, they start playing it again. But again, it's less spectacular than it was, so we're getting worse, right? Like I said, if they've got 3 of them, they've got dozens of them. If they got dozens, they've got thousands of them. So where the hell are they? Like what's going on here? This is not disclosure. There's something very, very hoodwinky happening here, and it's again, it irritates me. It irritates me. Yeah, okay. So let's Timothy says that's a space peanut. That's a Joe Dirt reference, and that's really funny if you've seen that movie. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what this is, and I do want to see more of this and official videos, not this wink, wink. Oh, we got this on loan from the government, but then the government denies that. I don't want any of that stuff. Like that's a leak, right? That's a leak. It's I can't even say it. An unsubstantiated leak is what that is. And so, what does that mean? Almost nothing, right? Almost nothing. It could be some Reddit, and I don't mean that Reddit. Anybody's out there listening from Reddit, I talk bad about Reddit a lot. I don't mean, of course, because check it out. If you malign everybody on Reddit, it makes me the moron. Let's just say there's some interesting people on Reddit. But let's say it's one of those interesting people, and they're hoaxing this, right? They're the anonymous source. Who knows, man? Like, I don't know. This drives me crazy. Unsubstantiated means false, right? Am I right there, Frank? Or am I just going out on a limb?
It could be anything. Could mean anything. Yeah. It's hard to tell. So I'd love to see, have you ever seen a UFO shooting a laser beam before? In any video, in any circumstance, have you read about it? I've never heard about it. I've never heard that before. A UFO shooting some kind of beam at something. That's new to me anyway.
Yes, exactly. Whoa, we got callers. Holy shit. Yeah, phones are working. So we got unanimous vids. Our phone's working. Yes, thanks for being here. We will take the phone calls shortly here. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. We got some. All right. Let's take this call, Frank. What do you think? You ready? Ready for this?
Go for it.
All right. Here we go. Good evening. Troubled Minds with Frank and Mike. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
My name is James, and I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
James from Austin. How you doing, my man? What's on your mind?
You're great. Well, first off, I want to kind of get down to like the basics of how there's a lot of phenomenons that have existed and have always gone on through that time where we made extraterrestrial contact, but have not actually done anything with it. Like, for example, there have many people that have come in contact with, say, like extraterrestrials and have undergone probing. And I think probing is something that we need to continue to look into because that is their way of making a connection with us. And I feel that the only way that humans can work together with other aliens is if we continue to make contact by letting the probing occur. And that's the only way that we can continue to make contact with humans.
I agree. Thank you so much for the call. And we will probe into that in the future. Thanks for the call. Let's go to the next call here. All right, you're on Trouble Minds with Frank and Mike. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
James, Georgia.
James from Georgia. Welcome back, my man. What's on your mind this time?
Okay, so I was trying to think about a better topic that I had more to say about. What would you say if I had told you that I believe God is an alien and that when Lucifer and a third of the angels fell from heaven, what if it was just really a sect of aliens that fell from grace or that fell from favor from the rest of the aliens, and really they just came down to earth as punishment, and we just kind of have to contend with it?
I think,
because I've seen a lot of interesting videos and theories and written articles about how the lizard people actually exist. Out of all the different types of aliens, everybody's pretty much dead set on thinking the reptilian race is out there.
Yeah. Okay. And so
what if, demons and angels are really just aliens, but people from, history or ancient civilizations interpret them a little differently because obviously they're not as intelligent as we are today?
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about this off and on, and there seems to be, so not just, so you can say aliens, you can say demons, you can say angels, and these things, right? And kind of lump them into a group. And maybe they're interchangeable terms, but then you can also take that to the next level, right? And say, what about spirits? What about these maybe Bigfoot or cryptids or these types of things, right? That could be multi-dimensional creatures that maybe are here for a second and then they phase out into another dimension, which is why, the joke is always, oh, hey, Bigfoot's the hide-and-seek champion, right? Like nobody can ever find Bigfoot. But maybe like these types of anomalous things are, there's some scientific, or it could be, let's say there could be some scientific explanation, but I think maybe they might be more related as a group than we may think. And I think that's probably what you're getting onto there. Can you hear him, Frank, on the stream?
Yeah, I can hear him. Can you hear me? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Can you hear Frank there, James?
Yeah, I can hear y'all a little bit on my TV.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, he does have you on the stream, so he'll have you on a delay. But yeah, go ahead and take that, Frank.
I think you're absolutely right. All these angels and demons and ghosts and goblins, they're all the same thing. They are all mythologically related to some visitation from
I
the
just
past.
wanted to talk about that and see what y'all's opinion was, because, I'm not really buying the fact that an angel could have mated with a female human and create giants. We all know giants existed. We've got bones to prove it, even though the Smithsonian Museum will try to, buy them up and then hide them away as if they didn't exist. But we know they exist. The Bible says they existed. But how does something like an angel that probably doesn't have a physical shape, because we like to think of angels as a celestial body, that's something without form, per se. So how does something like that interact with a female human that's very physical, you can touch, feel, and smell that, and make babies?
Yeah, that's a hell of a question. That's a question for the ages again. Thank you again, James. I'm gonna have Frank take the call here after we drop it. So James from Georgia, again, amazing points. What do you think about that, Frank? Go ahead and he's off, so we can all hear you, and he can hear you too.
Yeah, again, absolutely. If you were some savage, some native tribesman living in the middle of nowhere in Africa, you had no technology, you could barely build a hut to survive, and you saw a spaceship come by, and it shot out a glowing light, and someone appeared below it, you'd say, well, that's a magical creature, that's a god, that's whatever it is. And then you say, oh, this alien bred with this human created this thing. Well, you don't really understand what gets people pregnant at that point. You have no science. You don't kind of know what to do, but you don't really. I love the stories in China about people going in the, how do I say this politely? People going in the wrong area, expecting to get pregnant and not doing it. So you have no idea what's going on. And then suddenly they're doing genetics and you don't know what that is either. So you interpret it as, oh, they're breeding with us, So all these loose interpretations, these mythological interpretations, they're easy to rationalize as people are fucking stupid back in the day and they didn't know what was going on. So they made up their own stories to explain it. I can easily see all these angels and demons and ghosts and goblins all being the same thing, all being some kind of technologically advanced civilization coming here on Earth. What's that quote? Sufficiently advanced technology is no different than magic or something like that. It's all the same. So it makes sense to me perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple good comments here. Wayne says the Book of Enoch, the Fallen Angels. I think that's a reference to James there, what he was talking about. Let's see. What else? What's up, Kelly? Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Good evening, peeps, he says. Hello from Las Vegas. Hello from Las Vegas. Okay, and let's see. And we got a phone call coming in, so we'll take this in just a sec. All right, so what's the next topic here, Frank? What are we moving on to? We got more UFO videos? We can play one of these real quick before we take the next call, or what do you think?
Let's play this Reagan video here. You're talking about false flags, talking about what's the purpose of this To the Stars Academy. What's the purpose of these UFO videos? Let's get into Project Blue Beam a bit, but first let's play this Reagan clip about a supposed alien threat.
Okay, we have that. Let me find this. This was actually brought up. When was this? A couple shows ago, I believe, by what's his name? Luxor Sundragon on Twitch. He was talking about this, about Ronald Reagan mentioning the alien threat. So here it is. And shout out to Onion Knight 69. He found us on SoundCloud. He says, "Keep up the good work." Appreciate that. Okay, and let's play Ronald Reagan.
Our obsession with...
Yeah, there we go. There's something about his delivery. Ronald Reagan was so good. he was so good.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
Wow. Did you hear what he just said? So not only would we unite against aliens, right? Some sort of alien presence. But then he added, but is there not an alien presence already among us? And he equated that to war, right? It was what do you call that? Is that a metaphor? Is that a simile? I'm not sure. I failed English. But you get my point. He was trying to make a connection there of the two things. But what if it's alien war? Right? I mean, this is Troubled Minds Radio after all. What do you think? What do you think, Frank? Am I off the rails?
Yeah, so you have this, but then also take in context, Nixon, I believe, had that supposed meeting in Florida. He said he had a bad tooth. He apparently went to the dentist, but what they say is he had this meeting in Florida where he met with these alien species to talk to them, to communicate with them. So the times add up, right? It could very well be something like that. He knew what was going on. He mentioned it, and he's just trying to use it as an analogy. But in the background, he really knows. Again, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if he's just making a colorful comment to make a point. But you look at that, you read into that, listen to how he says it. I think he knew something. I think he knew what was going on.
Yeah, it seems, and there's been comments like this. I go to the Donald Trump one recently, right, where they asked him, George Stephanopoulos asked him if what's up with the UFOs, and Trump said he did have a briefing. He personally doesn't believe in it, but he does believe our Navy pilots. He does believe our Navy. So it's again, right? It's a little bit coy, but these things kind of pop up from time to time. Clinton talked about it. It's in the intro of the show. Aliens, Area 51. Alien deep under the ground. Like, we've had presidents talk about these, presidents and past presidents talk about these things. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does make you wonder, right? Like what they do know or what they're allowed to know and these types of things. Pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy.
Now, the other way to take his comment there, the different way to interpret it, is that they're going to use an alien threat as a reason to unify the world. And how would they do that? Well, they'd make one up. They'd fake an alien threat. They'd fake an alien attack. And just like you said there in that clip, they'd use that. They'd spread it around the world. We need to get together. We need to all band together under a one world government to fight back these aliens. That makes sense, right? That's what he said in the clip. So they could easily fake something like this. And maybe they're doing that right now. Maybe that's the reason of this unidentified show. Maybe that's the reason of all this fear mongering, these cryptic tweets from Tom DeLonge, is to get people to believe that we're about to be attacked.
Yeah, so Timothy's got a great comment here that's very relevant to this conversation here. He says, "Notice we always cooperate with the Russians in space." That's like that game, right? Notice you have to add in bed after it. Notice we always cooperate with the Russians in bed, right? No, in space. And you're right. Like that was a bad joke, but it is one of those things where, okay, they're our adversary, they're meddling in our elections and the Russian collusion and all this crap, right? But you're totally right. Like somehow, some way, we find a way to team up with the Russians and work together to make things happen on the ISS. Yeah, it is all this is curious. And back to some of these ISS. What was the guy's name? Tito, right? John Tito, right? Like he wasn't allowed. So he was you did look into that, right, Frank? The John Tito guy?
Yeah, he was the fellow that went up to the ISS and he wasn't allowed to look at the windows. That's who you're talking about, right?
That's the guy, yeah. So the space tourism bid, this was a while ago. He paid the Russians to take him to the ISS. The Americans and everybody else that was up there were completely annoyed. They escorted him everywhere, and they didn't let him look out the windows at certain times. So it does kind of make you wonder, all right, so are the Russians in on some sort of maybe more grand worldwide type conspiracy of this? I don't know. Like that's there's a lot of information that makes you wonder, because they do redact and scrub a lot of information. They do ignore a lot of anomalous stuff that shows up on streams and videos, and like we saw some earlier. It's just again, like none of this seems to add up. It like the narrative is so skewed based on the media, right, and what they want to report, and then they ignore everything. Again, back to transparency, right? Like imagine, so say Mitch McConnell, for instance, going back to politics for just a minute. He's the Senate majority leader. He's been in the Senate for his whole damn life. He's been there forever, and he's got all kinds of dirty ties with China. His wife is a Chinese dual citizen with America, and he's got she owns a shipping company that literally like rakes millions of dollars from China, right? And so, don't you think that's a conflict of interest, right? So I had a point, but I derailed my point by pissing myself off. But yeah, I don't know where I said it, Frank. Anyway, we got this call. Let's take this call real quick. Let's take this call. We still there? Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's take this call and then we'll keep moving. Keep on trucking. Yeah, get it ready, Frank. You're on Trouble Minds with Frank and Mike. Which first name are you calling from?
James Dockery, calling from Georgia again.
James from Georgia. What's on your mind, my man?
Oh, not a whole lot. I just like bringing y'all. I'm trying to bring y'all some fresh ideas, or maybe I'll pop something on you that y'all ain't heard about yet.
Okay. What do you got that we ain't heard about?
All right. So, if we know the aliens are here, and maybe we can't see them, or we don't know who they are, do you think that they're using religion to control us into being whatever it is that they want us to be?
I think so. I'm going to let Frank take that one. That's a third call tonight. Appreciate it, man. You were enthusiastic, and that's amazing. Yeah, maybe. So I'm gonna let Frank take that one, and we'll catch up with you later. Again, thank you for the calls, man. We appreciate it. What do you think about that one, Frank? You did hear me.
Yeah, absolutely. They could be using religion, no problem, right? What if, again, you go back to these Vatican secret archives, all this knowledge they've hidden away in Vatican City. Who knows what's there? Who knows what they know? That's a real suppression of knowledge, these Vatican secret archives. So you could easily imagine the Pope being read in on these issues and saying a bunch of stuff trying to guide humanity, but really, over top of him, with puppet strings, is this alien overlord telling him what to say. I can see something like that. Who knows, though? Presidents, politics, religion, media, they could all be controlled by aliens, by UFOs. That's how you would do it. You don't want to win a war. Well, what do you do instead? You trick everyone to doing what you want. Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, agreed. And James from Georgia, we appreciate it, man. Your enthusiasm is amazing. And let's just say some calls for the next show. We do them a couple times a week, and it's hard to get through some information if you're calling back. So if you want to continue to drop some of the good stuff, join the Discord, man. It's like a persistent chat. Lots of smart people in there. Go to troubleminds.org, top right, click Discord. You'll get a download, and it will be an invite to the server, and you can tell us all that good stuff. But yeah, you're onto a lot of things, like a lot of the topics that we discussed. There's some definitely some recurring themes that we touch on in this show, and you're spot on, definitely. So I appreciate your enthusiasm, man. Okay, so let's keep on trucking here. We got
let's move on. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. We got some good comments, but I was going to say we'll catch up. Go ahead. What's next?
Yeah, let's start trucking on Project Bluebeam. I tried to look into this. So this all comes from this guy, Serge Monast, who was a Quebec journalist, and he came up with this conspiracy theory that they're going to fake an alien invasion to control the world. Now, I remember seeing interviews with this guy in English. I remember looking into his theories and listening to him years and years and years ago on YouTube. And I went to look for it today to prepare some media for the show, and I couldn't find anything. So I included a YouTube search result here. Why don't you click on that and tell me what pops up? This guy does speak English. He speaks French and English because he's Canadian. But this guy definitely did do interviews in English, and I don't see a damn thing popping up in this YouTube search result. Can you click on that and tell us what you see?
Yeah, let's check this out. All right, so here's the actual search result for this individual, Serge Monast. How do you say that, Frank? I have no idea. Anyway, we'll go with that. Monast. All right, we'll just chew some tobacco and be like, we're from Oklahoma. This is Serge Monast. All right. Okay. So, but you search him here. Okay. And here's the example. I'm going to link this if you guys want to check it out yourself. So you search it, and what do you get? Un journaliste trop informé. Serge Monast sur la Frank. My French is awful. This is all in French. This is on YouTube. Is that what I'm looking for here, Frank? Because it doesn't seem to be any English.
Exactly. Not only can you not find any of his English interviews, they're gone. They're scrubbed from the internet. And I was looking at sources that link to these things, and all those videos are deleted. So you can't find any English interviews. It's been taken away. And there's no English commentary on the subject. There's no Project Bluebeam, here's what you need to know. There's none of that here. So they have really, behind the scenes, stripped this information from YouTube. I mean, I guess if you speak French, you can go look into this and tell us about it, but I don't. So what, right? This is real-time suppression. There's a few things here or there, But all this, why? I know he speaks English. I remember seeing the interviews. I couldn't find a damn single one of them. What's going on here?
Again, this is the technocracy at work, right? And these are the algorithms. We always talk about this stuff, and they're hidden. All this shit is behind the scenes, okay? And so, what do? Like we've done videos on this. Go to our YouTube channel. Here's the funny part, right? We've done videos on this where you search particular things and it suggests other things that are completely, literally opposite of what you're searching, because that's what the algorithms. It's like that small brainwashing, right? Like Frank said a long time ago when we did the what was that, the MK Ultra show. Like he said brainwashing doesn't happen in big chunks, right? Because you have to like medicate people and do all kinds of terrible things to them. But if you do it at like one tiny sentence at a time, you change one word in a sentence, and you do it 1,000,000 times a day, right, across hundreds of millions of people, that's how you brainwash folks. I mean, this is what's happening. This is it. So you search it right here. So if he speaks English, where the hell is his English stuff? I agree 100%. This is weird. Again, weird in a normal world, but we don't live in a normal world, do we?
No, we don't. So I had to go and find a secondary source for this Project Bluebeam stuff. I had to go find an article written about it. Let's open up allthat'sinteresting.com about this Project Bluebeam. Let's talk about it. Let's see if this Project Bluebeam applies to what's going on in the world right now. And let's talk about some of these key points that he mentions. So, why Serge Monast's Project Bluebeam might be history's craziest conspiracy theory. You got this one opened?
I do. I found it. How about that? I'm on time for once. I found it. Yeah. So I'm linking this.
Yeah,
you guys
look at
wanna
that
check this
guy.
out.
That guy, you can tell he's got some thoughts in his head looking at that guy, right?
Yeah, he's definitely, let's say, passionate. I'll call him that for sure.
So what is Project Bluebeam? So according to Monast, it's a 4-step project designed by NASA and the UN to essentially allow these organizations to control the world. They're going to create a new age religion, like our caller was just mentioning, and essentially implement control. And this is going to happen in 4 key steps. So let's go through each of these 4 key steps, which NASA and the UN are going to use to control the entire world by faking an alien invasion. And let's see if they hold up. Let's see if they hold up with what we see in the media, what we talk about on the show. Let's see if anything of these things really make sense. So step 1 of Project Bluebeam involves the manufacture of artificially created earthquakes in strategic locations around the world. And the goal of that is that these earthquakes would unearth artifacts indicating that the religious doctrines of all nations have been misunderstood. So step 1, earthquakes reveal ancient artifacts that disprove religion. What do you think about that?
I think it sounds legit. A little bit Lex Luthor, but okay. I'm with it. So we're trying to shake up the shake up the faith, right? We're trying to put the faith in a box and shake it up and make them ready to believe anything. Is that the step here?
Yeah, discredit the world by revealing some ancient human remains or some ancient alien remains using earthquakes. Now, take away the earthquakes part. Just take that away. Ignore that. Imagine they started digging up crazy stuff, digging up alien cities, digging up old religious artifacts that predate religion, documents or carvings that prove religion is false. So take away the earthquakes part, and this doesn't sound too false. So I put a Reddit link in here. Why don't you pull that up? Talking about Antarctica.
Reddit.
Remember, we've seen all these people going to Antarctica where the ice sheets are melting, and there've been theories that there's pyramids there, there's ancient artifacts there. But pull open this Reddit link. All these elites going to Antarctica. We got John Kerry, head of the Russian Orthodox Church as well. Tom Hanks, Buzz Aldrin, New Zealand cabinet ministers, a bunch of people from Australia, Lady Cosgrove, Harvard professors. Obama was possibly went to Antarctica, but there's apparently 76 different scientists there, different people, different important people. And that's the theory, is why are they going to Antarctica? So relate this back to the Project Bluebeam. If they're going there to see these alleged alien artifacts that are revealing themselves as the ice sheet melts, that makes a lot of sense. That fits with his step number 1 perfectly, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. So, okay. So we shake it up and start. So we're basically just changing from the elite level, like the actual paradigm, and it starts it starts kind of filtering down into the masses, right? That's what we're talking about here.
Exactly. So step one is these earthquakes reveal artifacts which disprove religion. Well, let's modify that for the current day. The melting ice sheets reveal artifacts that disprove current religion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. If these things are real and they start, it would be like going to the moon, right? And like actually seeing a moon base. So if it came back and got to Earth, it'd be the same thing. You end up seeing things or having to encounter things that your brain was never really, let's say, prepared in school to deal with. And so it has a life-changing effect on most normal people. I'm with you. Okay. So Project Bluebeam this is step one. And so we got Tom Hanks, Buzz Aldrin. Again, this is a Reddit post in /conspiracy. You guys should probably be all over this if you're not on /conspiracy in Reddit. But yeah. I mean, okay. I'm with you so far. I'm buying this. And what else? The comments are always the best, but we don't have time for the comments right now. Okay. I'm with you, Frank.
Yes. So that's step one is disprove religions and make people uncertain. Now, Serge Monast said it would be with earthquakes, but easily for 2019, we can interpret climate change, melting ice sheets as the issue instead of earthquakes. Let's go back to this All That's Interesting page. The second step, Monast claimed, would involve a giant space show. During this stage of Project Bluebeam, three-dimensional optical holograms as well as laser projections of holographic images would beam across the sky. And what would these images include? Projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, and all this kind of stuff. So they're essentially going to put on a show. First, they're going to make you uncertain. And then step number two is they're going to put on a show. They're going to beam things into the air and confuse you and put in projections of Jesus and all this kind of stuff up in the sky. Do you follow that?
Yeah, I follow. Okay, so we've actually haven't we encountered this before, and I think it may or may not have been related to Project Bluebeam, but I think there was an actual psyop that was happening in the United States military where they were trying to destabilize the Middle East with you would say images of Muhammad in the sky, right? Didn't we cover something like that? Totally rings a bell. Like there was something about that. But okay, yeah, I'm with you. So okay, you get people, you throw them off their base of understanding of the world, and then you shake up the religion to start, and then you start projecting these three-dimensional images in the sky of, say, Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or Muhammad, and then what? You can make them again. So let's go back to deep fakes. If you can make Obama say, "Hey, build that wall," which it's probably coming in, it'll be really funny, but you can do that with a deep fake video. So if you can do it with a hologram, yeah, I mean, you can make Jesus show up and say whatever the hell, right? And then once you do that and people are already confused, the end times, right? And so people kind of, they're in step. You got soldiers. I'm with you, Frank. So this is Project Bluebeam, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we had a Twitch comment there. Can we show pictures of the Prophet Muhammad? Do you think we can do that?
What's up, Noob Soup? Yeah, no, I really doubt it. I really doubt it. That's because...
Let's find out. Here you go. I put a link in the chat.
Let's find out. Hold on. This is the thing, though. This is the thing, though. There was that video. I think we would be remiss to point out that what was that video called, Frank? It was some 14-year-old girl on YouTube that got taken down. She was remember the name of that? Oh, Be Not Afraid. She said she claimed California was a crypto caliphate. Anyway, I think that's funny.
Yeah, so fun YouTube. Pull open this link. I want to see if we can do it.
Come on, man.
Pull open this link. Do it.
All right.
Do it.
All right. You're trying to get us banned, aren't you? You're trying, or no, you're trying to get me killed. Is what you're trying to do.
No way. We're both firm supporters of the Second Amendment. I'm not worried, and you shouldn't be either.
Well, I'm not. Well, as long as you can get a chance to shoot back. Let's find out. I think this guy's trying to fuck with us, aren't you? Noob Soup on Twitch. He says, oh, that was a rhetorical question. If there are even accepted images of him to begin with. Okay. Well, here's an accepted image. We'll find out. We're about to find out. So this is an accepted image, and I don't know where this comes from. I don't know who drew this, but apparently this is the actual Prophet Muhammad. And oddly enough, he looks very much like the Prophet Jesus. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, they all got beards and books and funny headgear. Anyway, let's go back to Project Bluebeam. So there was actually a psyop during the Iraq War. What they plan to do is destabilize the population by beaming images of the Prophet Muhammad saying, "Give up. don't fight, resist, beaming images of that into the air and telling these, essentially disheartening the local population not to fight. So I don't think they ever did that, but there was definitely a plan in place to do that, to beam images into the air. Now, let's go back to Project Bluebeam. So again, this second step is to portray images, broadcast images showing UFOs, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, all this kind of stuff into the sky and confuse people, right? How would we interpret this in 2019? Because remember, this is from 85. So how would we modernize Project Blue Book? What would we do?
Okay, if we were going to from 1985, and we're going to Project Bluebeam.
Bluebeam, pardon me.
Okay, so step 3. Oh, am I reading step 3, or should I not be? Should I not be cheating?
No. So again, this is how it was described in the 80s. And I'm trying to modernize it to 2019 to see if we see any parallels. So instead of earthquakes in step 1, it would be global warming. Now, step 2, they said holograms displayed in the sky. Well, what about television? Why bother displaying these things in the sky if everyone's listening to the radio, if everyone's watching television, right? So maybe they're trying to do this with television instead of holograms. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So this is what it says right here on the thing. So we have mind control. I think that's what you're getting at, right? So step 3 is would be the 24-hour news cycle, wouldn't it? Step 3 would be the push notifications you get magically from Google that you don't ask for, right? Or from Facebook, as they say, this is trending, right? This is wink wink trending. So you go to YouTube, try it. If you've never tried it, go to YouTube, click on the trending tab, and look at the views. Explain to me. Now, some have 10,000 in their trending, and some have 10 million in their trending. Yeah, okay, all right. So I'm with you. I cheated by looking at step 3, but yeah.
Yeah, so the point I'm trying to get at here is instead of holograms in the sky, it would be more effective to show holograms in your television set, to say these things are real, to say UFOs are coming, but they're not actually. So instead of using a hologram to show them in the sky, they'll just show them to you on the History Channel, for example. So let's play with that context. So with that context, that they're trying to trick you. They're trying to make you supremely worried about this stuff. They're trying to get you upset. Aliens are coming. They're a big threat. Let's play this unidentified trailer. Let's play the trailer, 30 seconds long. It won't take too long. And keep that context in mind. They're using this stuff to make you afraid, to destabilize you, as Project Bluebeam says.
Frank is onto something, I think. Here we go. Action if you haven't seen this. April 19th, 2019.
I put my entire career on the line because I believe in what I believe in.
He ran the Pentagon's top secret UFO program.
They tracked 100 of these things.
Leading a team of government insiders.
People from the CIA, the Department of Defense, all wanted to be a part of this.
Who for the first time have come out of the shadows to reveal what they know.
I don't really care if it's a threat, it's a threat.
Unidentified Inside America's UFO Investigation. Friday, May 31st at 10.
That's pretty scary. I mean, right? They're trying to. I would say that's trying to destabilize your view of maybe religion. I think you're right. They're here. I'm telling you guys, they're here. But I'm not going to say they're here.
It's a threat.
Yeah, it's a threat.
You heard him say there's a threat. So again, modernizing Project Blue Book. Let's recap. Step 1, earthquakes reveal artifacts. Well, maybe it's global warming revealing artifacts. Step 2 and 3, mind control and images. Well, they could just use the television for that, right? They can use the news media and the television to implement this mind control, implement these images in the sky. Instead, they'll just show them on your TV screen. Now, talking about mind control with the news, let's open up this Bill Gates tweet. Do you see this image associated with the tweet? Can you open that up?
Yeah, I do. This is amazing. All right, Bill Gates. And I pulled this up in another tab so we can see it full screen in a sec here. But so here's the Bill Gates. It's up. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, so this is how the media manipulates you. This is an amazing infographic type thing. So this is the causes of death in the U.S., and on the left-hand column, you see those causes of death. So heart disease is 30%, cancer is 30%, accidents, falls, respiratory disease, Alzheimer's, 7%, 5%, right? So the big killers of death in the U.S. are heart disease, cancer, accidents, and Alzheimer's and other diseases, okay? Now look at how the media portrays it. So Google searches, New York Times coverage and the Guardian coverage. Look at this. Heart disease kills 30% of people, but only gets 2% of news time. Cancer kills 30% of people, but the New York Times and the Guardian only give it 13% of news time. Now look at the left here. Terrorism is less than 0.01%. That's how many people terrorism kills. Less than 0.01%. But the New York Times gives it 35% of its coverage. The Guardian gives it 33% of its coverage. Do you see this? This is mind control in real time. By what they talk about, they can convince you things are more of a problem or less of a problem. They even have a homicide in here. 0.9% of people died of homicide. And yet 22% of coverage in the New York Times is about homicide. 23% in the Guardian is about homicide. So they're deluding you. They're tricking you. By the amount of space they cover, you can contrast it directly to the number of people that die. This is an amazing little source here. What do you think about this?
Okay, now there's a few things here. So this is not a surprise to me whatsoever, because like I said, right, if you rewind the entire 24-hour news cycle and you watch it, let's say a week straight, you see the same dozen stories over and over. I talk about this quite a lot, but there's 330 freaking million people just in this country. So you're telling me there's only 12 news stories talking about? No, of course not. They're worth talking about. Of course not. Right? And there's billions of people in the world, right? Of course, that's not the only news. There's tons of international news that would be noteworthy. And no, this doesn't surprise me a bit. I do want to comment though. So it doesn't surprise me, Frank. I got another comment. Anything to add to my first comment? Because my second comment, I might go off.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine this. So the left-hand column is how people die. Now let's add a new category to the left-hand column. Alien invasion deaths, 0%, right? Because no one's died from aliens. So causes of death in the US, 0% from aliens. What's to stop the media? They've inflated terrorism from 0.1% to 35%. What's to stop the media from inflating 0% of alien deaths to 50%, to 60%? What's to stop them from doing that? Nothing.
There's nothing. No, you're right. There's nothing to stop them because this is what they do. This is just like you said, brainwashing in real time. And so let me point out. Now, I'm going to go back to this real quick so you guys can see this. Now, this was tweeted by none other than an individual by the name of Bill Gates. Now, if you've been living under a rock for your entire life and you don't know who Bill Gates is, he owns Microsoft. Bill Gates is one of the most wealthy people in the entire world, okay? Now, I'm not one of those guys that maligns people because they're wealthy. I'm not somebody who's going to shit on this guy and say, he's the 1%. He does a lot of good things for people. He donates a ton of money. Him and his wife are into a ton of really good things for people. He's what I would classify as one of the actual good billionaires, an actual philanthropist, as they say. I think so, in my opinion, right? So sue me, Bill Gates, if I said a good thing about you. I'm sorry. Now, look, this is the thing. Bill Gates owns Microsoft, right? Everybody is aware of this. Bill Gates is super wealthy, right? Have you ever heard of a network called MSNBC? Anybody out there?
I think so. Yeah,
okay,
I think
so
I've heard of that.
It used to be NBC, right? Why is it MSNBC? Because it's MSN, right? Which is an old school network thing they had going on. They might still use it. But it's Microsoft NBC. Like, are you shitting me? Okay. For him to point out the fact that the media is brainwashing us, and he has a huge ownership in MSNBC that is constantly fucking brainwashing us. Do something about it. If you really give a shit, you bought this damn network, right? You bought the damn network, right? You have a majority ownership stake, and I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know. I didn't look it up, right? But check me. Fine, no problem. If he doesn't, fine. But he's got enough of an ownership stake where they put the MSN in front of NBC, right? You don't like have a 10% ownership stake and put your damn name in the thing, right? Change the name to reflect your business. So my point is, if he's really fucking concerned about this, you own one of the goddamn mainstream news networks, and all they do is propaganda all day, every day, right? So Bill Gates, I said a good thing about you, now I'm going to say a bad thing. You have an ownership stake, fucking do something about it, right? Here you are. You pointed out your own hypocrisy from your own network, and I'm telling you, This is the same thing that's going on with Google, with Facebook, with Twitter, with all the rest of these clowns, and you are complicit. So if you want to point this out and be like, hey, I'm a good guy, no. Start with your own damn network in your own damn house, in the same places and the same things you try and feed us every damn day. Because we're not stupid. You get it? You follow me. If Bill Gates, if you hear me out there, I love you, man. But get your shit straight. Right? This is hypocritical. Am I right, Frank?
Yeah, I think it is. It depends on, their merger and how much he owns. And I think he sold most of his Microsoft stock to defend him a little bit. But, it depends on the terms of the deal. Maybe he can't do it. Maybe it's impossible. Maybe the CEO, which isn't Bill Gates anymore, signed this away. So I agree with you to a point, but maybe he's lost the plot. He can't control it anymore. And this is his way of fighting back. So I'll give him a little benefit of the doubt. There's two different ways to look at it.
Okay. So I'm done with my rant, but that was my second point. Like you can't point out the fact. So there's causes of death, there's Google searches, there's media coverage, and they cite the New York Times, and there's media coverage, and they cite the Guardian. Where is the media coverage where they cite MSNBC? That's my point, right? More cherry picking, more brainwashing, right? That he could put his own damn network in this, or shoehorn it in.
Oh, definitely he could.
Whoever,
yeah,
right?
definitely he could.
Yeah, no, but of course not. And again, so they're brainwashing you. Just I'm not brainwashing you. The hell you aren't. Okay, anyway, I'm over it. I said what I had to say. But
no, that was a good rant.
Thank you. But it's true though. Like I'm not making this up. Look it up. And if he wanted to be transparent, he could have added his. Look, the network that I'm at have a huge ownership stake in. This is how we cover things, right? If he wanted to try and say we're trying to improve on this somehow, some way, at least in a bar graph chart type of way, like this is, right? Like you could somehow, some way be like, hey, look, if you notice our network, we're going to try and do this and this better in the future because we think this is trash. No, no. Like you always point the finger at the other guy, and in this case, the other guy is the Guardian, the New York Times, and Google. I don't disagree that those guys are trash and the things they cover and the brainwashing stuff that they put forward, but there's more than that. There's more than three terrible sources here. So, and he's a major part of one. So, anyway, like I said, I'm over it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see this done for every single news outlet to see who you can trust, because the column on the left should proportionally represent the column on the right. Other way around. Column on the right should represent the columns on the left. Anyway, back to the context of Bluebeam. Back to the context of step 3, which is mind control. I don't even think we read that one. Step 3 is where the mind control would take the center stage. Telephonic communication devices would send waves to reach each person within their own minds, convincing them each that their own God is speaking to them from the very depths of their soul. Well, that doesn't really apply in 2019. We got a bunch of atheists. We got a bunch of non-believers. So you do something like this. You do something like this infographic. Causes of death by alien, 0%. New York Times coverage of alien death, 50%. So you easily see how Project Bluebeam could be modernized to 2019, looking at this infographic.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so this is exactly that. This is the mind control we're talking about. Except just like you pointed out, and you're spot on, Frank. This is very good. 1985, they didn't have these mind control mechanisms like they do now. They can't phantomly just push a trending story to your iPhone or to your Android, right? Like they can do it now. They couldn't have done it in 1985, right? They had the 3 networks, the 3 major networks, and whatever else was going on. But they didn't have the actual mind control information monopoly that they do now, right? Now, if we're talking about the 99% versus the 1%, this is it. This is it right here. It's the control of the information and the things that they try and stuff down our throat. And more terrifying, this was, like you said, 1985, didn't exist. Now, everybody's holding a mind-controlled device in their hand all the damn time. They have it within arm's reach of them 24 hours a day, just like if I reach back behind my shoulder here, I have something else within arm's reach 24 hours a day. But it's not my smartphone. You follow what I'm saying? If I tell you what it actually is, we'll get taken down off the internet. But you get my point, right? It's not about trying to scare people or from the everyman's standpoint, but from their standpoint, it is trying to brainwash us and believe all these other things. And I would ask you, right? Like, nobody wants to believe they're brainwashed, okay? Least of all me. But think about it. Like in your own heart of hearts, do you think it's possible that somehow, some way, the information they output has affected you, has affected your thoughts, your beliefs? Even a little bit. Do you think it's possible? I challenge you. If you're listening to this, I challenge you. Think about it. Like, go into the rabbit hole and wonder, did I learn this in school? Why do I believe the things I believe? And I'm not saying go full conspiracy theorist and think that everybody's out to get you. That's not what we do, right? You can call us conspiracy theorists. It's a malignant term, fine. Whatever. Call us what you want. But I'm asking you, look in your heart, look in your education, and wonder why you believe the things you believe. That's all. Because here we are. This is Project Bluebeam. This is 1985, right? Oddly enough, 1 year after 1984, George Orwell fame. And suddenly, in the modern age, we're able to actually make this happen, right? If we wanted to put a hologram of Jesus in the sky, we could do that right now, right, Frank?
Yeah, definitely. Well, they got Tupac dancing around on stage. I think he's been dead for quite a while. And they got, all these other characters dancing around on stage that I thought they died, right? So they can definitely make holograms. They can definitely trick people. And they do it through television. They don't have to put it in the sky over Iraq. They can put it in your television set. Anyway, let's get back to Bluebeam because there's a final step. The fourth step of Project Bluebeam would be to make use of various technologies to convince people that alien invasions and the rapture itself were taking place, thus making it easier for the powers that be, NASA, the UN, to take control of the fear-addled populace. So they're going to convince you that aliens are coming. They're going to convince you that you should be worried and afraid. And the UN and NASA will swoop in and say, don't worry, it's okay, we're dealing with the issue. So that's the final step of Project Bluebeam. Can you see something like that happening? Open up that Tom DeLonge tweet and let's read it again in context of this final step. That they're using the technologies to convince people that aliens are coming and we should be worried.
It sure seems like it, right? So okay, so for the people in the chat that are concerned about the zero alien casualties, we're going to say effectively 0%, right? So that doesn't mean there are none, right? There are abductions and these other things. So just keep that in mind, right? So like if this was an epidemic and 30% of missing people were alien abductions, right? There would be a little bit more, hopefully, coverage. But anyway, you get the point. Effectively 0, not 0. The number 0, 0%, effective 0. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so good point, Frank. Back to the Tom DeLonge tweet. Everyone will know the reality soon, and unfortunately, it's just not something to laugh at. It's pretty unnerving, with some bad news, some good news, and with that in mind, all we can do is deal with it honestly and openly. Tom DeLonge, if you're out there listening, give us a call. We'd love to deal with it honestly and openly and ask you some questions, which many, many, many media outlets have reached out to you at this point, and Lou Elizondo, and you don't seem to be available to us. So, speaking of honestly and openly, sir. But yeah, you're right, Frank. It almost seems like this is an over coverage, right? Maybe it's a clickbait, maybe it's something else entirely, right? Something more nefarious.
Yeah, anyway, people think Project Bluebeam is crazy. They think it's insane. But if you look at these 4 steps and you modernize it to the current world, modernize it to current technologies, using Twitter, using television, using the History Channel, using news, it makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. This could be what they're doing. Like, again, that tweet, it says it all. It's pretty unnerving with some bad news, some good news. And with that in mind, all we can do is deal with it. And also vote for the UN and vote NASA as your overlords. You could
Right.
put that on the end there.
Yeah, don't forget to you can donate it to the Stars Academy, and we'll take you there. We'll bring the honesty and the openness to you with your donation. It almost sounds like he's running for president. Oh, jeez. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and to address an earlier point, yes, there's been human mutilations, like cattle mutilations. Certainly people have died if you buy that side of the story. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they could fake an alien invasion, fake some of this stuff, and then blow it up in the media so much that that's all we think about, all we talk about, all we know. It's the biggest problem ever. We got to deal with it, even though it really isn't.
Yeah, it really isn't. And again, everything's skewed. Like I said, remember, you turn on the news and everything's like people bleeding and people dying and this and that. Like I said, open your front door, walk outside, and look left and look right in the morning and see what the hell's happening, right? And actually see what's happening around you instead of buying this the Don Lemon narrative or the Sean Hannity narrative. We aren't buying that. We're not doing it because it's propaganda. It's mind control, and there's a reason why there's tons of money in it and why they spin this shit 24 hours a day. But yeah, I'm with you, Frank. So okay, so you're saying that the mainstream media, one way or the other, is complicit in this Project Bluebeam by destabilizing the belief systems of people. We can look to maybe the polarization of the country at this point, the United States of America, for those of you that aren't in this country. That's the country I'm talking about. And maybe that's part of it, right? Like you're polarizing people so much that you go on Reddit, you say hello and they call you a Nazi, right? Or Twitter, you say hello and they call you a Nazi, right? If you defend the president, even in the slightest, you're a Nazi, right? That's crazy. That's I think we're losing the context of what a Nazi actually means, unfortunately and sadly. But okay, all right. So we're destabilizing. Then what, Frank? So are you saying that Bill Gates is complicit? Are you saying that all the mainstream guys are complicit in this and they know this is happening, or what's happening here?
It could be. That's a theory. Again, that's why we have the internet. We can talk shit about this. We can say, no, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to believe you when you put this stuff up. I think they thought they would put this on the History Channel and people would buy it hook, line, and sinker, and they would just accept what they're told. They would believe everything they're told. I put a link in about Tom's old helicopter tweet. I didn't pull that up, or his Instagram post that he later deleted. But take that in context of the discussion. So this is the helicopter post. Let me read it to you. What if I was briefed by an Italian intelligence agency that a UFO shot down a military helicopter? And of course, he said that would be on the show. It never was. Take this in context of Project Bluebeam. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to make you afraid. And if UFOs are going around shooting down helicopters, well, certainly you should be afraid.
Yep, and I've linked this if you want to check it out yourself. And remember, this was posted on Tom DeLonge's Instagram. And the reason why you're not looking at his Instagram is because he deleted this post. So you're looking at a screen cap of this that was put on Imgur, however you want to say it, IMGUR, and this is it. What if I was briefed by an Italian intelligence that a UFO shot a military helicopter out of the sky? And there were pics. What if it's all in the next 2 episodes of my show? It says it right there, right? Like, this is a con man. This is snake oil. That's exactly what this is. And I think, like I said, the more I see the information that plops out from these clowns, the more it pisses me off. Because this is not how you do it. This is not how you operate and run disclosure. This is not it. Whatever it is not this. That is a fact. And so, yeah, I'm, call me triggered. In the no trigger zone, I'm triggered. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, now let's go back to Bluebeam here. There's a final point. He says, remember, this is in the 80s, so this is before cryptocurrency, before anything. For instance, one component includes the phasing out of cash. One component of this Bluebeam project includes the phasing out of cash. Monast said that the plan would be executed after a financial crisis, not a complete crash, he said, but enough to allow them to introduce some kind of in-between currency before their electronic cash to replace all paper or plastic money. So he's saying that they're going to take over, the UN's going to get voted in, and they're going to phase out paper and plastic money and replace it with some kind of electronic. Now, he said this in the 80s. There was no electronic cash in the 80s, right? So this is prophetical to a certain point. Is that happening now? Does that sound familiar in any way?
It's probably one of their highest priorities, right? So to create a global government, a one global government, you would need one currency. And the way to do that is by usurping the other currencies that exist with, let's say, I don't know, let's shrug and just say a digital currency of sorts. I'll just throw Bitcoin out there, but right, there are many others.
Yeah, open up this post from theverge.com. Facebook's crypto, we're on Facebook. Facebook's cryptocurrency Libra explained. Have you heard about this?
I did. I did hear about this. And so this just hit. Let's see, I'm trying to find this from The Verge. There's The Verge. So many verges here. Yeah, okay, so I did hear about this. And so this is brand new. This just hit. It was released or announced this week, right? I'm pretty sure it was this week. And so Facebook is actually backing their own cryptocurrency, which I don't know. For all the all the control Facebook currently has, I think this is terrifying. I think you go back to some of the biblical stuff and the mark of the beast and the money changers and this type of business, man. I don't know. This is a little bit scary, yeah. I think so. I think this is a little bit terrifying.
This is terrifying. This is horrible. So Alex Jones, right? He's banned from Facebook. He can't get in on any of these social medias. Imagine they transition to these kind of currencies. There's no more American dollar. There's no more British pound and whatever the fuck they have in Canada. It's all Facebook Libra. That's what you have to use. Now, Alex Jones, well, he's banned from Facebook. So he's trying to pay for his lunch. He can't do it. He can't use this Libra currency. He's trying to go overseas to take a trip to give a talk. Well, he can't do that either. He can't pay for the plane tickets. So if you're a dissenter, if you're not buying this Project Bluebeam nonsense, if you think they're lying to you, well, too bad. You don't have money anymore. You can't pay for anything. You're banned from Facebook's cryptocurrency. I think we should all be really worried about that.
Yeah. So, okay. So now this is the most frightening part to me. So I did see this launched, and then I saw an article, and I'm not even sure the source at this point. I can find it. It almost doesn't matter, right? Because everything's a hit piece in disguise or whatever these days. So it almost doesn't matter. But whatever it was, it had a point. This article had a point. Because they said Facebook is launching their own cryptocurrency, and its initial competitor is the US dollar. Right? And so that's because remember, go back. I don't even know which show this was. Sometime in the last 6 months. I said that if you give these huge companies so much power and so much money, right, that they already have, they can buy senators. Senators are cheap, right? You can buy these things. You can buy so much influence with the money you have that you are as powerful as the major countries on earth. Okay? That was kind of my point. It's been a point. It's been in our face, and now here we are. So if Zuckerberg creates this Libra money, whatever this ends up being, this cryptocurrency, right, and people are spending it on Facebook, and so Facebook is basically as ubiquitous as it gets, right, Frank? I'm not sure there's probably a bigger site in the world at this point. I would think Facebook's number 1 or 2, top 5 at least.
Exactly. And that's the issue is most people didn't know about Bitcoin. You know, a few people knew about it. No one really knew how to buy it. No one really knew how to go on a coin exchange and buy some Bitcoin and sell some Bitcoin. There was a process. It was involved. But if Facebook makes it easy, they have the user base already. So they could easily pump this thing up, no problem. Hey, like 10 posts and make 10 comments and invite a friend to Facebook and you get 1 Libra coin. Ooh, you know, so they could do this stuff to their benefit, and then they could ban you from the currency if they so chose.
Which kind of brings us full circle to us always hating on China. And so we could actually have let's say this becomes an actual competitor to the US dollar, right? This becomes widespread. People use this like crazy. They're posting and commenting. They're gaining engagement from these things, right? And so as a result, what happens? Like, what happens with all of this? Like Frank said, they're able to cut you out of it at any point. Okay, so if you're like, hey, you've racked up 10 million Libras and you can maybe buy yourself an ice cream sundae now, they can steal your ice cream sundae from you, right? And of course, I'm being silly with that, but you get my point. So that they are now the bank. They control these things, and the larger this grows, the more terrifying this is, because this is exactly it. We're streaming on Facebook right now. Mark Zuckerberg, if you hear us, can you call us? We have some questions about this, man. 702-957-1037. If somebody out there, a moderator on Facebook, hears this and we're flagged for whatever reason, we just want to know what's up. We want to know why we should not be worried. We want to know why you opening a cyber currency that will compete with the US dollar, which is basically, let's call it the petrodollar, let's call it the dollar of the earth, let's call it the economy. The worldwide economy is based on this. So explain to me, not that I defend all of those things, I'm just saying, This guy has the power to shake the entire world up, right? One dude. And there's a problem with that. And, Mr. Zuck, 702-957-1037. Anybody else that's out there listening, we are live. We got a few minutes yet, 10 minutes or so to go. If you want to call us and you have thoughts on this, we're here for you. Again, transparency. If I want to reach Mark Zuckerberg, I cannot. If Frank wants to, he cannot. You know why? He's protected, right? There's no way. He doesn't do town halls where he gets hardball questions. He gets softball questions. If you don't believe me, go watch his Congress testimony. Go watch as he explains to old people how to open their email, right? They asked him specifically, so, Mr. Zuckerberg, is Facebook the same as Twitter? Yeah. That's the type of interviews this guy gets. I think he needs to answer for a little more than that, don't you, Frank?
Absolutely. He really does. Now, just again, I want to relate this back to Project Blue Book because that's the theme. This is how they control. So any dissenters, anything, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't like your opinions, well, no more coins for you. No more social network for you. And so all these things, if you think Project Blue Book's crazy, if you think it doesn't make any sense, again, go back to that All That's Interesting link. I'm sure you've shared it already. And try to think of it in modern terms. And I think it's happening. I think it's happening right now. This is what they're doing. So it sounds crazy with the earthquakes and the artifacts and all that. But again, put in global warming, put in Antarctica, substitute these terms for modern terms, and it all makes sense. It's all terrifying. So this could be what's happening. This could be Project Bluebeam version 2019 happening right now. And Libra and Bitcoin and Facebook and tech censorship and Google, that's all a part of it.
Agreed, 100%. So I did call the phone number out to Mark Zuckerberg, but that goes for all the rest of you too. So if you have comments on this, if you think we're just tinfoil hat tards and want to set us straight and think that this is the way of the future, we're open to that argument, right? Like we are not ideologues here. We're concerned about this, but we're not going to tell you you're instantly wrong and call you a Nazi if you disagree with us. So if you do, or you agree, or there's some gray in between, we'd love to hear from you. Please call us, 702-957-1037. Go to the Discord. You can find that on troubledminds.org. Just click the link on the top right. It says Discord, and the phone number is printed there as well, so you can give us a call, get on here. But, yeah, so, I mean, here we are. I don't know. This is scary stuff. I know you got more here, Frank. You got more you want to motor through real fast? Again, about 5, 8 minutes, 10 minutes left. What do you think?
Yeah, that's enough for Project Blue Book, and I think we'll have to save the tech censorship for another show. Otherwise, we'll just be banned. Let's get banned at the start of the Sunday show. How about that?
That sounds good to me. Okay, so, yeah, Frank keeps saying blue book. He means blue beam. So there's it's
late at night.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm pretty tired.
We talk about Project Blue Book a lot too. Just making sure. So you're not confused. It's Project Blue Beam, right? And it's a way to destabilize the belief systems of the Earth to take control, right? And in this case, it's under the name of aliens. So okay, let me go back to this article real quick. This was the original Project Blue Beam dealio here. From this was allthat'sinteresting.com, and let me just highlight the article, the headline one more time. Serge, Monast, right, Oklahoma style. Project Bluebeam makes today's conspiracy theories look sane. Right. So not only do we have the conspiracy theory, right? It's hey, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're insane. Hold on though. This guy is so insane, he makes you maybe look sane. Yeah, okay. But now, right? I think Frank laid out a compelling case here. This looks maybe not so insane anymore. Oh boy. I think we're in trouble, Frank. I think the longer we do this show, the more trouble we get. Do you think it's time to do FOIAs on ourselves to see if we have actual files now?
Can you actually do that? Would be pretty interesting to try that out.
Oh yeah.
I kind of doubt
totally
it.
Can. No, you totally can. I've read some articles on it. So you can. And so of course they'll redact the stuff they don't want you to see, but I mean they're required, right, to give you the information on yourself. So I wonder. I think it may be time. I think we've probably touched the nerve enough times at this point that it's one thing to talk about what was that guy? Stardust Ranch, and he said, chopping off the heads of aliens with samurai swords, right? They're rolling their eyes at us, but I don't know. Like we're calling out the major corporations and the stupidity in the government and pointing out some of their documents that are contradictory to their narratives. I don't know. I think you touch the nerve enough times and you get an FBI file. So maybe it's time. Maybe it's time.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably more of a Facebook file or a YouTube file or a Google file instead of a government file, right? They probably say, these crazy guys, they're saying too much stuff that we disagree with. Put a flag on their account. No one sees their notifications. No one knows anything. I can see that being more of a thing than the CIA investigating us. I don't think they give a shit.
Yeah, agreed. Noob Soup on Twitch says, at least going back to Libra, the Facebook currency, he says, at least the article is against Libra. And what gets more mainstream than The Verge? That's very true. The Verge is extremely mainstream. The tinfoil hat, reverse mainstream. What do you call that? What's that? Echo chamber mainstream. Yeah, definitely. Shane, what's up, Shane on Facebook, Frank? Now you're never going to believe this. He says, you guys are awesome. Thanks. Thank you. That's very nice of you. All right, Tamron. Tamron's got to bounce. We're about done. So you were here. You were here. So we were. Yeah. There we go. Sean says I have a file a mile long. Do it. Do a FOIA on your guys. So okay. Now let me tell you, if you guys are international, and because I know Sean's from Canada, if you are, you can still file a FOIA request to the U.S. government as an international person. So there's that. So if you think you actually have a file with the FBI, you can do it. You can do it. So look into that. I think it's even cheap, right? Because it depends on how many pages that you have. So if you have a file a mile long, it might not be cheap because they charge you by the page. But yeah, there we go. There you go. Matt says thank you for what you do. Thank you. We appreciate that. We work hard on this. We take this seriously, and we think there's a lot of concerning things. I wouldn't call us. What would you classify us as the like the preacher type of doomsaying conspiracy types, Frank? Or are we a little different? Maybe we're like a modern conspiracy theorist, I hope.
It's hard to tell. I think we're just taking it as it comes. We're regular people. That's the way I'd like to describe it. We're not trying to show you that there's UFOs in the sun going through portals, and we're not trying to convince you that there's underwater things and the center of the earth civilizations. We're just looking at it, talking about it. Regular people here. We're not spooks. We're not demagogues. We're not politicians. We're just regular folk.
And if you want to support us, notice there's no paywalls here. there's no you have to donate this or that to call us. There's none of that crap, right? None of that. It costs us money to do this show. So it's again, like you go back, you look at the trending stuff on YouTube, and like I said, 10,000 views is somehow trending the same as a 10 million view video, right? There's some shenanigans happening. And don't you think the things that we talk about, at least maybe like, I think probably like if you cut out the aliens and you cut out the paranormal, but if you take like 40% of the stuff that we talk about, I think most people would be interested, right? Given enough time where they don't have to slave to the grind and feed kids and work 3 jobs and all these things, right? I think many people would be interested in this. But there's no money in the truth, right? There's no traction in the truth, and there's no, I don't know. There's a way to finish that, Frank, and I don't know what it is. Maybe you can help me.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's Project Bluebeam. I see you have a couple of links in here. Why don't you? There's one about Facebook listening to you. What's that? I didn't read this one.
Oh, you want to do that? All right, we do have a couple minutes left. Let's look at this one real quick. We shit on Facebook enough, so Zuckerberg, if you're listening, 702-957-1037. And if you don't catch us live and you're busy right now, slaughtering your cow to smoke the meats, it's a voicemail, so you can call anytime, 24 hours a day, and we'll play your message on air. So that goes for everybody else too, not just Zuckerberg. So 702-957-1037. The phone number's on the screen here. So if you want to leave us a message, we do have 2 messages to play, but one's kind of inaudible, so it's a waste of time. So make sure you speak loud and clear, please. And another one's just asking when the show started. So we did get those, and we're not ignoring you. It's just kind of not relevant. But if you have relevant stuff, we will play it on the show. It is a voicemail as well. So yeah, let's look at this real quick. So this was this is reported by more mainstream business here. Oh, I clicked and moved off of it. Here we go. This is reported by USA Today, and they're talking text section. And Now, this is curious. It says, now, okay, we speculated this several times on this show. When you speak, like you didn't do, okay, let's say, pick a product, Frank. Like, you got a mainstream product on the top of mind, maybe you could pull out of nowhere.
Yeah, let's say popcorn. I would love a good popcorn.
Right, like whatever that microwave popcorn, right? Whatever that is.
Yeah, I really need me some microwave popcorn.
Right? So you didn't actually physically search that in a browser, but you did say it audibly to your friend, to your spouse, to your family member, whatever, right? And you say it, and oddly enough, you start getting ads for Jiffy Pop popcorn. Right? Now, this is not an ad for that here, so don't worry. A brand came to mind. And so what's going on? Now, this says, the title of the article here is Facebook listening to me? Why those ads appear after you talk about things? You want to speculate on this, Frank? Having not read this article, you want to speculate on this? Before I tell you what they say.
Ridiculous. Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous. So Amazon has the Echo device, Google has the Home device, Facebook has your phone, because all these phones and tablets nowadays, it's interesting. They're installed with a Facebook app. I have a challenge for you out there. Try to uninstall that. Try to click on the uninstall Facebook. Don't do it now if you're listening to us, but try to do it later on. You can't do it. It doesn't let you. It does not let you uninstall Facebook. You got to backdoor into your device, your little mobile device, and get rid of Facebook. You can't just click uninstall. It's there. So they're listening to you through all your devices. And they do it all the time. There's proof of this. People know it, but they deny it. They continuously deny it, saying, we do, here, I'll read the quote, probably preempting you. We do not look at your messages. We do not listen in on your microphone. Doing so would be problematic for a number of different reasons. Yeah, so that's what they say, but it's all bullshit. We know they do. There's been proof. Someone without a dog says, yeah, I need some dog food. Yeah, I'd love some dog food. And then all of a sudden they have dog food ads popping up in their Facebook feed. Give me a break. They're definitely listening to you. And there's news stories coming out of Germany where some of these Amazon workers, they actually share around your stories. So if you're arguing with your spouse, they pull them up and they listen to them and they laugh at them. This has been in the news time and time again. So they're definitely doing this. And how they can deny it and how they can lie to Congress about it, I don't understand.
Yeah, okay, so that's exactly it. And so the way they describe this, okay, so let's go to your dog food example. You don't have a dog, but you've been talking about having a dog recently, right? So how they would describe that they know that about you without actually listening to your conversation with your friend is that you probably, right, and this is, of course, wink, wink, you probably, and I have this data, jumped in the car with your friend and went down to Petco to maybe look at the adoption dogs, right? Like, that's what they're saying. They're saying that they have so much data on you that it becomes this Orwellian 1984 mind-reading business, where based on the places you go and how long you spend there, and not just that, let's say it's the first time you've ever been to a pet store since they've been tracking you, right? Like, these are the types of things that they're saying. So once again, right, we say the technocracy. People roll their eyes and be like, Mike, you're paranoid. Like, this shit is not that deep. Well, okay, so given the two options here, either they're listening to your conversations, or they're so deep into your shit that they know what's about to happen in your life before you know what's about to happen in your life, right? And so one way or the other, or let's say it's a combination of the two, isn't that terrifying?
Yeah, I don't even know that I buy that. I think that's nonsense too. So they say here, we don't look at your messages. We don't listen to your microphone. That doesn't mean their algorithm doesn't listen to your messages. That doesn't mean their algorithm doesn't listen to your microphone, right? So no humans at the company may be doing it. Doesn't mean the computers aren't doing it. Doesn't mean they're not parsing the language you use and making a transcription that's run through some kind of sophisticated machine. They're definitely listening. They're definitely listening. I don't buy this for 1 second.
Yeah, so it says it in here. Let me highlight this real quick. It says, Mosseri and the company deny the persistent perception every which way to Tuesday. Quote, we don't look at your messages. We don't listen in on your microphone. Doing so would be super problematic, just like Frank said. Okay, and then he continues. This is the important part. But I recognize you're not going to really believe me. right? Right? Oh, what just happened, right? The world just flipped upside down. I'm going to link this if you guys want to check it out. But what the hell's going on? Again, Mark Zuckerberg, 702-957-1037. Please join our Discord. We have some questions for you. And the world at large has questions for you. So if you would like to come on here in an open forum, in an actual transparent environment, we'd love to throw you some hardballs. And being decent human beings, we won't just throw fastballs at your chin. We'll ask you a couple of softball questions too, right? We'll mix it up. We'll be polite and all those things, and we're not going to demonize you. But if you're out there and you're listening, and you're a moderator somewhere hears us talking about you and passes it up, and you catch wind, we'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to have you on the show. And again, we'll be nice. We will be nice. If you disagree with us, we will be nice to you. Go back and listen since the fucking first episode. People that call into this show, with rare exception, we are nice to. Whether they agree with us, whether we agree with them, it doesn't matter. None of that matters, right? You're dealing with one human being to another. You should be nice to them, right? You should offer courtesy first. And hey, that's what we're offering to you, Mr. Zuckerberg. So please call us. That's the end of the show, though. We've been at it a couple hours.
Wait a minute. I gotta add one more thing here to the very end. So at the very end of this USA Today article, they say, what are your options to deal with this? What can you do if you think Facebook's listening, but they don't want you to, or you don't want them to? They say Facebook can't track you if you close your membership and delete the app. That's what they say at the end of this article. But again, you can't do that. You can't delete the Facebook app. Again, I challenge you to try. If you have a newer device, a newer tablet or computer, you can't delete the app. It's stuck there. You got to do a bunch of rigmarole to go through it and get rid of it. You can't just click delete. So this option they present at the very end, just delete the app. That's not possible. Sorry to tell you.
Well, yeah. It's the thing. Here's the thing, right? And just like you go back to just to wind this out, you put Zuckerberg back in front of Congress, right? And you got that Hank Johnson guy from Florida asking him if Guam's gonna tip over, and Zuckerberg's explained to him, no, Twitter is not Facebook, sir. Right? It's like this is the actual dystopia we live in. It's bizarre, and so not to put Frank and I on a pedestal and say, oh, we're really smart guys or something, but at the very least, we do know how technology works on a basic level, right? And maybe even like an intermediate level. So don't you think you should have people like that, and even smarter than us? Not that we're smart again, but asking these questions of Zuckerberg, right? Like why are the Congress people asking him these questions when their aides? Like their staffers are way smarter than them, right? Way more tuned in to what the hell's actually happening with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Google and all these things. It's unbelievable to me, right? So like, hey, welcome to dystopia, right? We say we don't. 1984 is a myth, and we're really not headed there. I don't know, man. The more I see this type of thing going on, yeah. Hell in a handbasket, 1984. Here we come. All right. Yeah, there you go. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys for sticking in. We're going to do some outros here, and we're done. We are done. Frank, you're up. Here's the music.
Yeah, I think Project Bluebeam is real. I think it's happening now. I encourage you to go read about it. Try to modernize it. The technology we have, the skills we have, the people we have, the system we put in place. I think it's happening right now. So it's worth looking into, worth reading about on your own. What else can I say? Next time on Sunday, we'll be back on Sunday, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Pacific, I believe that's right. We'll talk about tech censorship. There's a whole bunch of it going around, and you can get banned for even linking to some of these things, so that'll be on Sunday. And we'll throw in some witches and goblins and ghosts and other spooky things too, because that's always fun. Anyway, that's the show. Please come back. It's fun. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll be there. We'll be there if you'll be there. Sunday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Ringing in the witching hour on the East Coast. That's what we do. And here we are. So think about it again, and remember, this is the most important point, guys. Of all of this, all the things we talk about, and we talk about some crazy shit, right? All of that stuff, it doesn't matter what we think. Take it, run with it, fact check us, research yourself. In the end, it only matters what you think. And so that's what we're here for. Hopefully to start a discussion, hopefully to start you thinking about some things that maybe you might not have. Hopefully, you'll call us and teach us something we hadn't thought of yet either. And that's why we do this. That's why we do it live. That's why we're here. And that's why we have an open line. And that's why this is transparent. Government, hello. So yeah, all right, we're done. This is the end. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, the incomparable Frank Pierce. Thank you for listening. And from our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. We'll see you Sunday.